Hello everyone, this is Danielle from Cageless Readings. So today's pick a card is a little bit different. We are going to choose from 10 cards. You can choose as many as you like, and we are just asking the question, what animal guide is working with you right now? So this isn't necessarily your power animal. I'm more looking for totem animals right now. If you know what that means, it just is a spirit guide or an animal spirit guide that's working with right now to help you in a specific area of your life. It can also be your power animal who is with you for life and is always by your side. So we're gonna start with this being pile 1 with the Amethyst. Pile 2 is this heart-shaped rose quartz. Pile 3 is this piece of Nuummite. Pile 4 is this little cluster of Citrine. Pile 5 is this Kambaba Jasper with the word smile on it. Okay, so this is Sardonxy Agate. Hopefully I'm saying that right. It's in a pyramid form, so it looks a little different. And then we have a mini cluster of clear quartz. And we have a piece of calcite. It's a little dirty. I actually just found it outdoors, so it's fresh off the mountain, you could say. And then this here is a piece of red jasper in a mushroom form. So what we're going to be looking at is the power animal or the totem animal that is with you right now. And then I have a different deck for each pile that I'm going to pull a few cards from to see why is this animal with you right now and what are they here to help you with. So that being said, I'm going to give you time now to ground yourselves and choose your pile or piles, whatever you feel called to do. All right, I'll see you all in your card readings. All right, pile 1. So you chose this piece or this cluster of amethyst. And let's see what spirit animal's working with you. So we have hyena. And then for the cards that I pulled is from the Inner Peace deck. And we have to receive, you must release. What is has no bearing on what will be. Out of the woods, you've made it through. And the last one, you heal by releasing, not suppressing. Okay, so let's talk about this hyena card here first. Okay, pile 1. So the hyena animal here, I feel like for this pile is just a totem animal or a spirit animal that's come to assist you during this phase of your life. The thing that first catches my eye here is this moon, where it just seems to clearly be saying to me that it's time for the things that you've had hidden in your shadows to come forward and be dealt with, meaning your emotions. So I can see that this hyena is like a lovable person. It is like a friendly, outgoing individual, but the energy is just like that it's been surviving. It's been just trying to make it through life. It's just been trying to get through the pain or the heartache that it's been through any way that it knows how. So when the hyena card comes forward, there is like this request that you stop like unconsciously doing things that help you forget about this shadow side, help you forget about the pain, is like the words they'd use, like the heartache, the just, yeah, pain, whether it was childhood, whether it was past relationships, issues with your parents, just miscontent with where you are in life. But I think for this pile, if you chose this hyena is coming forward because you have been in survival energy. Everything here, like you're out of the woods now, you made it through it, and saying now it's time to heal by releasing, not suppressing your emotions. These cards here really sum up the energy of the hyena very well. This animal is definitely with you now to help you start living and start loving your life. Start, like, if you see these cards, they're so beautiful. Like, it's all about like freeing the person and allowing their dreams and like their true selves and who they really are, their full potential to come out. I see that definitely in this, and in this one for sure. They're just so beautiful. And I do feel like there is some advice coming through for this pile. So for the hyena, it usually talks about becoming more conscious of the words you use about yourself. So if you and I want to say this is very normal, at least in North American society, where you can tease yourself, like you can kind of make fun of yourself and say, like, it's the self-deprecating humor. And this card kind of comes through when it's saying, hey, like, if you've been using that as like a way to kind of cope with like what you really think about yourself, or like hide it with humor, like try to start paying attention to things like that. You might not even realize how much you do it until you kind of look at it a little bit more. But they're just, it's kind of like a request to be gentler with yourself and to, like it kind of says here, face your fears, like see them and release them versus suppressing them. And that can be a little confusing for people because you might just think like, well, how do I release it? I want to release it. I don't know how. It's kind of just feeling that emotion. So it could be crying. If you need to cry, just cry and let it leave your body and get out of your body. I feel like this old pain. And for some, it is like a heartbreak. So it could be that maybe one of your parents or a friend or a spouse passed away and you had a really hard time with that. Or it really could just be this pain came from surviving your childhood. And this card's really coming through to say that you're now in a place where, like, the hyena wouldn't come up if you weren't in a place where you're safe and able to release and go through this. And I have to really point that out. If some of you are like, oh no, that's really scary, they're saying, before I think you're in a position or an environment where you were still just trying to survive and you couldn't necessarily open up that door and face all this, but now you're in a good place. I think you're older, which is like the key thing here, is I think a lot of you were young when a lot of this happened, so you were just due to age under other people's authority, and now I think you have your own authority. You speak for yourself. You are of an age where you can do that, and you're in a position where you can do that. So there is like a call to also say if you have a tendency to drink once you're having a hard time, like, I don't mean you have to be alcoholics here. I don't get that energy, but there is a little message that if you've had a hard week and it's Friday, that your first thoughts are, I can't wait to go get a drink and have some drinks with friends. Here it's really calling on the energy of, instead of, say, like drinking, or I know in like here, like marijuana is legal, so people can just smoke marijuana, and it's all okay to do those things as long as you're not doing it as a form of suppressing or running away from the emotion you don't want to be feeling or dealing with. So um you you take that as you want. I mean, this reading is totally up to you. You are your own advocate, but just the guidance coming through when the hyena comes through is just to really be able to learn some more self-awareness in these patterns and habits that you might have had. So a big one would be, like, when do you eat more food than normal? When do you start craving things you don't normally crave and you don't feel good after you eat them? When do you start drinking more than normal? When do you start seeing these patterns come forward? It's saying, instead of doing those things that would get rid of that or suppress the emotion momentarily, try and feel into it. Cry. If you're needing to cry, that's when you should cry. If you feel really angry about your childhood or things that have happened, I actually get that this is when maybe you should join like a kickboxing class or some form of class where you can like appropriately get out that anger or that emotion that's been suppressed, while also doing something that makes you feel good, and will make you feel good. You're not just doing something like, say, you start eating a bunch of cookies or pastries or things like that, and then you feel gross after, and then your body also feels even less taken care of. Where if you're doing something where you're at least releasing the emotion, not keeping it in the body, that will help. If you think about it, if you're not sure if what you're doing helps release or suppress, something the guys just pointed out is that a lot of times when you're suppressing emotion, you're putting something into your body. Like, you're literally forcing food down, you're forcing drinks down, you're putting smoke in it. If you're smoking or like cigarettes or marijuana, and you do that more when you're not feeling okay. That's a really good point. I never realized that they're pointing out is, if you're forcing things in, you're kind of doing it to help force those other things down. But if you're doing things that revolve like releasing, like you're physically doing something, there's a lot of releasement energy just in that. So they're saying, pay attention to that. If you don't know the difference between suppression and releasing, is stuffing things in, literally outside things in, and then versus doing things that physically push things out. And then some little, sorry, that wasn't English. Some other little like messages from this hyena guy is, it's just saying like, just because the past has been a certain way doesn't mean that it's going to continue to be that way. And it's really here as like I know some people might think of a hyena, like what a like unusual animal, but for here it's really like saying like, I feel like you feel a lot like this energy, like kind of like a little rough around the edges. Like you feel like you've been, like you really are just, you've survived something. You've survived it. You're still in that energy of just surviving and not being able to deal with the emotions. And you want to love people. You want to be a good person. You like connection with people, but you've been pretty like hurt by things in life. And so I see this hyena energy as like this, it's kind of like this underdog energy where it's been a little beat up, but it still just wants to love. But it's hesitant on trusting and on believing there's other things out there that's better for it, because it's only seen a certain way of things being. And so when I see this hyena, it does feel very youthful, like it's in its young adulthood, and you don't actually have to be, but like that's where it shows me where the energy is. It's like it's just getting out of its like parents' control. It's just getting into its own authority. It's really just starting to experience true freedom. So what I see here is it's just really talking about how don't lose hope, don't give up on life, don't give up on what you want to experience. Don't give up on this beautiful dream that you might not know if it's even possible or exists because you've never felt it, but you have hope that it's there. And this card reading, it's really saying it is there. There is that better dream, that peaceful feeling. You can just feel light. That is possible. You can just be happy and feel safe all the time. That's possible for you. And just definitely there's strong energy of stepping into this beautiful free person. Like, it's funny, it's like when you get feelings, sometimes it's so hard to verbalize it in words because all the words in English feel too dull to explain the energy that they like show me or that they give me to communicate to you. And I'm like, this doesn't quite, the English language is just too constrictive. I find there, it's too limiting. There we go. It's too limiting, where I feel like energy is limitless. English words are limiting. So I just trying to think how I can really convey the potential and the beauty that is going to come into your life. And it's also like this dark night of the soul kind of energy. If you've heard other people say that, or if you watch a lot of card readings that talk about dark night of the soul, it's like very much there, where it's like you've come through some stuff. It's going to have some lows, but there's going to be some of the highest highs you experience in your life, where you're just going to be like, this is living. This is why I'm here. This is what I came to experience. And I'm so grateful and blessed to have this life and to not be where I was. Like, it's such a powerful phase for you, but they're telling me that there will be some equally low lows because all the stuff that you've suppressed. So here it says, you heal by releasing, not suppressing. What emotions do you need to feel? And I really feel like those moments are going to be hard. You're going to feel very tempted by old habits, old things to come up. But the thing that the hyena comes in here to say is like, it's okay to feel the low and the highs. They both exist beside each other. And you're going to get through this. You're going to feel your way through it and release it, and then it will be gone. You're not going to keep... The problem with suppressing is that it comes like a tidal wave that's so powerful, and it comes and hits you again and again and again, and it just gets more and more powerful. So as scary as it is to feel that emotion, it's going to get lighter and lighter and lighter. It will stop being like this like tsunami level wave coming over you and overwhelming you and hitting you and causing you so much overwhelm and heartache and pain. Instead, it will just start to feel like a small ripple in the water. And it might seem hard to believe that, but that is definitely coming through for you all. So, and then just on a lighter note here, they are saying like things to look forward to, like what newness is emerging, like who are you? Who do you want to be? What do you want to experience? That's the fun part of this phase. There is a lot of dealing with this hard, heavy pain that you've gone through that, like I said, I feel like this pile has survived, but they're talking about when there is that side to it, it's also important to know what is it that you're so excited to experience and live for and learn how to do and have, and just focus on that. Keep guiding yourself towards that way. So what does your ideal life look like and feel like? That's like the main focus. They're saying like when things are heavy, when things are hard, feel those emotions, but know once you're in it that is the end of that. There's no more going to build up on it. Nothing else is going to come and feel like that again. It's really being released and let go of, and this new beautiful life, this beautiful you is coming through. The Flower of Life is also in 2 of your cards, which is like really fascinating. It really talks about how everything's connected, how everything can work out for you, and everything is what's the word I'm looking for? Everything in life is happening for you now. That's the words I want to use. Everything in life is happening for you. You've come full circle. You are in a new phase. Like, that is a really big message. If any of you are like, well, what if I get stuck in another thing like this? No, that was the past. This is the new you. I really have to emphasize that. Like, even look at these. So you have like the full charts in the moons going here. It's just really saying like the past is the past. Feel your way through it, release it, and focus on this new you, this new life. Like, just take a second to look at this card. Like, how beautiful and powerful is that? Like, look how free this person is. Like, I almost even get that if you have pain in your body, that is very much related to your upbringing or your suppressed emotions. This person, this new you that you are headed towards, you're coming into, that your life is destined to head towards, is like pain-free. Like, look how like flexible they are. They have no pain because they have no stuck emotions, nothing keeping their body rigid. There's no fear in there. It's totally free. It's living. It's just a beautiful card. This is where you're going, but I can really see why this animal guide is here to help support you in this, the past energy. That's really what this one is here. It's here to help you deal and get through the suppressed emotions. And I imagine for this pile, the emotions were suppressed to protect yourself. You didn't have space to feel them at the time. So don't beat yourself up about that. But just know it's okay to feel them, cry your hearts out, go to a kickboxing class if that's what you need, go to some sort of thing where you can physically release energy that you weren't allowed. So especially, like, I think kickboxing's coming up because I feel like it's pretty full body. It's not just kicking, it's also upper body. And I feel like if you have stuck emotion, it's really going to help like get it out of all your different parts of your body. And I also feel like there was something around being silent for this person. And that's part of their pain, is that they had to be silent about it or keep quiet about it. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of anger as well as pain to release. So the crying's good for the pain and like feeling the emotion you weren't safe to feel. And then I think a physical sport like kickboxing will be really good for releasing the anger you were also not allowed to feel or have. But like I said, take that as you may. It's just something that popped up as advice for some of you. And then this card, these two here are really saying focus on what you want to experience. Like if you want to, like, sorry, I'm getting all cut up. They're kind of saying like, you can write down a list of who do you want to be? Like, what people do you look up to and wish you could be like? Who, like, what do you say I wish to? And then write that down and you become it. You can become whoever you want to be. This is your recreation. This is the true you being born phase. Through, like, it's almost like they say in a forest fire, like it destroys what seems everything, but then some of the most beautiful life takes place after. And I feel like that's like this balance you're in, is like, you've come out of the forest fire and you're regrowing now, but there's still some like pain to deal with from the loss and the grief of that. But now there's this new you being born, stronger and more beautiful than ever. Well, I hope that clarified some things. This is all I have for you. Best of luck on your journey. I can tell that you're really in a tricky place. You've got so much good coming your way, but I can see all the pain that you have to release, is the word they keep saying. Release, 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 so that you can really step into this wonderful, free, beautiful soul that you were destined to be. Okay. Also, nature. I didn't see this. If you are called to it, going on lots of nature walks would be good. Being grounded with earth, feeling safe and held by earth, Mother Earth, I think is really powerful for this pile. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave it. Best of luck. You are so loved and you're so beautiful and you're so deserving of this beautiful life. You are so much more than the pain that you have endured. And stop making fun of yourself, because you are so much better than that. You don't deserve to have those things said about yourself anymore. You just, yeah, you're a great soul. Hello, pile 2. You all chose this piece of rose quartz that's in the shape of a heart. So the deck that you got was the Archangel Gabrielle Doreen Virtue deck, and the animal card is a moth. So then we put that there. And then we have Listen Only to Love, Perfectionism, Law of Attraction, and Gratitude. Okay, I'm seeing a theme here for you all. So the other interesting thing is that the moth card, they chose to do green here, green and yellow, and then the Gabrielle deck is also all green. So I don't know if you know this, probably not, because I don't think I mentioned it, but I just randomly took 10 Oracle card decks, put them all in a random order, and then I decided to draw 10 animal cards, and then in the order I had randomly put all the Oracle card decks in is the deck that I decided to do each animal card with. So I had no idea the theme or anything that was going to go on for each card, and I kind of thought that'd make it a little more fun. So anyways, this is very appropriate is what I'm getting to with all this. This deck for this animal that's coming through. So this, same thing as the last pile, is definitely more of a totem animal, an animal that's here for a period of time to help you through this phase, but will probably leave you once you don't need its help anymore. So the theme of the moth here, it's really here to support you in, I see your confidence in yourself and not being so hard on yourself. But this hardship you have with yourself, like it says perfectionism, there's a lot of fear here. It's all coming around, I believe, your specifically mother figure. So your mom, some of you might have had like a lot of female role models in your life. So say maybe your aunts were over all the time, or your grandmother was with you a lot as a child. That feminine in your family is kind of what created this perfectionism pattern, we could call it, that you've grown into. And the moth spirit's coming in to help you heal that, help you get rid of it. Because I think that you've been trying to help yourself get rid of it, because there's a lot of fear associated with perfectionism. There's this need to be perfect, to have people, I guess your standards are just very high on yourselves. Like you don't ever want to let people down. You want to do the absolute best that you can, but you will never obtain it. It's like you're never quite happy with what your results are, even if they're 100 times better than somebody else's results. But they're saying this is coming from the feminine in your family. Yeah, I really do think it's like, it could even be like a family pattern, like an ancestral pattern that you're here to even help change, especially if you're watching a card reading and you have an animal guide coming through to help you shift out of it. So that's telling me already that you mean business. You know this is here. You're tired of it. You don't want to keep experiencing it. And what I love about this is just like everything the moth stands for is going to come up in these oracle cards here. So the moth is really about not being too hard on yourself, not losing hope in the mystery of life, and understanding that some things are just harder to learn. Some things, there's just like ups and downs. That's a good way to put it. But don't forget, don't get pessimistic. That's what it is. Don't start losing hope in the ethereal, the beauty of things, the crazy coincidences, like the law of attraction. I love that that card came up, because the moth is really saying, when you're too hard on yourself and you expect yourself to be perfect and everything to work out all the time, life can be really hard. But when you start to learn that there's like a really fun aspect to the mystery of things. Like crazy coincidences is what they keep saying, like how sometimes you can see like a certain bird, but then say you get a card reading and that bird pops up and you're like, that's so weird, I haven't like noticed them in a while, and then I really looked at it and now I'm seeing them in card readings. Like they're saying, like, see the beauty in that, like see the beauty in the things. Like if everything was perfect, those moments might not happen. It's like those crazy mysteries of life that makes life actually interesting. If things worked out all the time, we would be bored out of our minds, honestly. So anyways, the moth spirit also usually comes around when we're having a hard time actually finishing our projects, and perfectionism being in here tells me that you might be struggling with actually seeing things through. Like you get into it, you get a lot of the work done, and then you hit a roadblock, you hit like something comes up, and then you have a hard time actually getting back to it or finishing it. It's almost like the fear of not doing it perfectly or getting it done just how you've envisioned it that holds you back from completing it, because you put such high standards on it that you just like almost have a fear about them not being met, not being able to do them, and then not getting back. So we kind of have like advice cards here, and then kind of like what's going on and why this card is here in these two. So listen only to love. Don't allow fear to distract you from your divine mission. And this is like I'm saying, I actually see this as like the female influence in your life. So if you even still have a connection with a mom or a grandma or an aunt who like you are going to tell them what you did this week and you're like scared to talk to them because they're going to just give you an earful about what you should have done and like wanting something better. There's some boundaries that need to be set there. There's some, what's the word I'm looking for? They're like almost even saying like recognize that all of that they're putting on you, it has nothing to do with you. It has a lot to do, and it says a lot about how they feel about themselves. And there's just like, there's really like this message to not take that on and to, like they say, set boundaries with this person, but there's only so much you can do because this person has a lot of fear and a lot of high demands of themselves, which I think have slipped onto you, and like what women should just do, like this like perfectness or this like overachiever energy. So the advice here is to really hear it from a different perspective. Like if they're saying, why didn't you do this, that, and that, understand that it's nothing to do with you. There's just a lot of wounding and fear and limiting beliefs that this mom or grandma or aunt or female role model has for themselves that they're just kind of putting on you by default. So it's interesting. They're almost saying like, if you could see the situation from a third perspective, it would actually be pretty healing and eye-opening for you. You would really see a different side of it. Yes. And that a lot of this fear, they just keep saying that this perfectionism, this fear has really come from there. I don't know if you've realized that or if you've been suspicious of it or people have mentioned it to you, but they're definitely saying it comes from the female side of your family to be like that. And here, so it says, polishing your creative projects is fine, but don't allow perfectionistic fear to result in procrastination. So this is what I was talking about, where perfectionists are some of the worst procrastinators because they have such high standards that they like fear they can't make the right decision or choose the right one or the best one or anything like that. Like a good sign of if you're a perfectionist is if you can't make a decision between like two different flavors of food or ice cream or multiple flavors of things because you feel like you have to choose the best one, to the point where you might not make decisions on stuff like that because you're too scared to make the wrong decision. That's like a small version that shows like this perfectionistic tendencies. It's funny because we do see it a lot. So a good way to like grow and work on that is to like let go of the fear of like choosing a flavor that maybe isn't the best, but it's just about experiencing it. Like maybe now you'll know that whoever came up with like gravy flavored chips was crazy and you should never eat gravy flavored chips. I don't know. That's just a random example. I don't even know where that came from, but they're just saying stuff like that. Like, don't sweat it. Life is about just experiencing it. There'll always be another time to get a different flavor. And if you're always getting the one because you think it's the best, well, how do you know it's the best? Because you've not given a chance to any of the other ones. I don't know. Maybe I might be, never mind. Their guides are like, wait, don't say that. That might just like get them freaking out about missing out on their favorite flavor. So anyways, oh boy, this reading is just going a little bit sideways. Okay, so really what they're saying is just recognize that this isn't you. This perfectionistic ways, this isn't actually your identity. This is actually a pattern that was kind of given to you from I think your mom, when your mom's mom, and it's kind of like just like one of those things you're here to upgrade, release, and shift for the generations after you. So your children, you're also going to make it easier for your parents by getting rid of this and working on this block. They always say it helped 7 generations. So I really see this for this pile. And like I said, it's come up. This guide is here for you now because you are working on this block. You are aware of it. You are trying to shift it. And they're going to help you with that. So this law of attraction and gratitude is the advice cards on how to help you get out of that energy. So fear is the real root behind perfectionism. It is fear-based, whether it's fear of disappointing others, fear of not being good enough, fear of whatever it is. Gratitude is the opposite because you aren't grateful when you're terrified. Usually you can't feel those two emotions at the same time because they're so like opposites on vibration. So they say gratitude. So you attract more blessings when you appreciate your current blessings. So instead of focusing on maybe this thing you have, let's say for example, this seashell. Instead of focusing on the fact that this seashell, it has a chip missing out of it and now it's not perfect and it's been ruined. Instead you go, wow, I'm so grateful for this beautiful seashell because I don't live near an ocean and they're hard to come by and it's beautiful. It connects me to the ocean. It's unique to itself. The colors are amazing. I'm so grateful that I just get to have this. So maybe that's like a very simplified version, but they're saying instead of focusing on the imperfection, focus on all the other things because there's way more things that are beautiful about something than there are negative. But with this family sort of gifting you this this pattern, you've been almost trained to focus on the imperfection. So it's just like training your brain, training yourself to look for the good instead of the imperfections, if that makes sense. So you're rewiring your brain. That's essentially it. You're rewiring it to notice the other things because I feel like right now you could walk into a room and you'll observe things that a lot of people won't even notice. And they'll seem so obvious to you, but that's where the training comes in. You've been taught to look for those things because that's like what your family saw and what they commented on because that's where their focus went. And other people would focus on something different, like maybe how clean the room was. Like if there wasn't something on the floor, then it was clean to them. But for you, you'd notice that the table had dust on it and you notice it because every time you walk in a room, your mom notices that there's something that needs dusting, you know, like random things like that. So it's all about focus. So gratitude is great to shift what you are focusing on and redirecting it from a place of fear and like disappointment and something not being as perfect as it could be and shifting it to gratitude for having it, for the beauty of it, for the uniqueness of it, for the opportunity of it. This one will be a little bit tricky for you because like I said, you've been wired to do and see things a certain way. So this is like truly the challenge of being open-minded is seeing the other side than what you've been taught. really cool. It's huge growth curve. It's very cool that you are embarking on this. So I really want to like say like good job on you. Like this is amazing that you are knowing that this is just a thing you were taught and releasing it and coming to this other perspective. So, law of attraction, keep your thoughts positive and surround yourself with positive people and situations, and you will attract more positivity into your life. So, the other thing that comes from this is right now you'd be having a hard time manifesting in what's the word? Higher vibrational things that would be perfect in by your definitions, because you're always noticing what's not perfect about something. You'd have a hard time manifesting in or calling in something that was perfect by your standards, because you're focusing on all, like where your focus goes, energy flows. So it's kind of saying if you're always focusing on what's not right, then you're going to bring in situations and you're still only going to notice what's not right about them. But when you shift to this like gratitude, you're going to be attracting in things, and it could even be how you see them is going to be different. It could be a situation where previously you would notice something bad about it, but because you've shifted and you're changing how you see things, you're going to see it as a true blessing. And then you're going to keep attracting in more and more and more, and even like higher, better things, if that makes sense. Higher frequency things, better things, things that you're really wanting to have in. So it could just even be like really joyful friends, really fun, playful friends, better clients, a happier family, beautiful opportunities, whatever it is. I don't think for this pile it's so much material things you want to manifest in, as in it feels more like you're trying to manifest in a different type of people. But either is okay. It doesn't matter what you're wanting more of. The message here is just focusing on that gratitude and seeing things differently. And remember, it's going to be hard. It's going to feel weird, a little awkward, but it's because you were trained, you were wired to see things one way for your whole childhood. Even I think some of you are into a bit of your adulthood. So I'm guessing this group could be like 30, 35, and you're all of a sudden trying to see things differently. That's amazing that you're even being open to that. So don't beat yourself up about it. When you feel fear, when you're feeling like you might disappoint people or you're procrastinating a lot, go into the gratitude, because for you, it's very fear-based. So when you're feeling grateful and happy and feeling it, then it's going to help. So I'm like, if you're feeling blocked and procrastinating, actually sit down, and if you like typing it out or if you like writing it out, start saying all the things you're grateful for, because keep saying it until your heart actually shifts. Like you feel in your heart lighter, and actually you're like, wow, I've had so much beautiful things in my life. I actually have a lot going right. Wait until that happens, because if you're just like, well, I'm grateful for this house, I'm like grateful for water, like, like there's that energy of like, I'm just saying it because I don't really feel it. Just keep saying it until you feel the shift, and I believe that will help with the procrastination, because like I said, you're gonna have this beautiful higher energy. You're gonna feel in a heart-centered place. That's basically the difference too, I should mention. This feels very heart-centered energy. This is very logical brain energy. So like you're thinking, it's funny, you're actually thinking a lot through the solar plexus, more in a lower vibrational state because of how you're trained, but you're going to be thinking more through the heart space from a place of love. So it's great, super great. Great stuff. Which also even makes sense why you chose rose quartz, thinking through the heart, coming from more of a place of love than fear. So it's very appropriate. If you've been feeling called to wear more rose quartz, do it. I think it's going to be great. It's great. You're really going to see some shifts. And I think it's just going to bring a lot less stress on you and more ease in life. Oh, so much more. I feel like for this pile, there could be some anxiety. You're going to have way less of that. There could be just some I feel like for some of you, even you might feel like scared to go in social situations. Like there's just like a lot of like weight on being a certain way. And I think that will dissipate when you're doing this gratitude practice. So anyways, this ended up longer than I anticipated, but this is all I have for you. The moth spirit will be with you to help you through this, because like I said, they really symbolize sort of this healing of how we see ourselves, the perfectionistic tendencies, our fear of not being good enough, and brings us into this beautiful heart-centered love space, the space of getting rid of procrastination, coming into a place of getting things done, loving what we're doing, being actually joyous and happy in what we're doing. So it's great, awesome, absolutely amazing that you are changing this. Like I said, I think this is going to be generational shifter. I don't think it's just you. I think you doing this work for yourself is going to positively affect the 7 generations in your family, because it feels so ancestral. So good, great job. A huge block for your family line, and you're doing just so much work. Awesome. Keep doing it. Hello, pile 3. You chose this piece of Nuummite. It's actually one of my favorite types of clearing stones. It especially helps us know our strengths and our gifts and not deny them. So it's a good clearing stone as well as a good confidence stone, you could say, getting you to really see yourself clearly. So I wonder if that will play into the cards today. So for your spirit guide or the totem animal with you right now, we have oyster. And then the oracle cards you have, there's something better. Ask your angels. Meditation brings answers, and abundance. And you got a lot of cards with like little rainbows that are within them. And then even the cards themselves, they all have different color curtains, and you each you got green, purple, blue, yellow, and then in this card here, the first thing I noticed is all these little colorful dots around the oyster card. I'm not sure if you can see that. You see all the like little rainbows. I don't know, that's the first thing that stands out to me. So whenever I see rainbows and card readings, they usually mean 2 things. In this one, I'm pretty sure it's talking about you being a healer or a light being, someone who came here who was on a mission or had the intention of bringing more love and light to the world. So it could be in physically healing people, emotionally helping people heal. It could be so therapies, it could be social work, it could be just volunteering with homeless shelters or any type of shelter. Could also just be working with energy. So you could be in any kind of psychic field or acupuncture or Tai Chi, yoga, anything along those lines. And to some people that might not seem like healing work, but it is healing. It's just on a different level than the mainstream, like going into nursing or doctor sort of roles. So I definitely get that energy for this pile. Every card here is really screaming that you are a healer. And then the other thing that's very fascinating about that is the oyster card. If you see here, it's very similar energy as like a turtle card, like the turtle that we would associate personality types here. Like if they're saying you're coming out of your shell, I should say in Canada here, we have a lot of expressions around that, coming out of your shell, or, you know, moving very slowly. And this oyster card, funny enough, has similar energy as that. The difference is this is like the oyster personality or animal guide that comes through is like when you are really good at something, like you already have the skill. Where if the turtle card came out, I would think maybe that you're still learning and trying to gain the skill and you don't really have the skill yet. You still need training. Here I see it as You have your knowledge, you have your wisdom, you have some experience. What is lacking is that you're shy about it. That's like the easiest way to put it, is that this person is feeling rather shy about putting themselves out there. So there's a lot of yellow, which is really making me think more about the confidence block here with the Nuummite crystal, also kind of talking about that. So some of the advice cards for you, for why this spirit animal is in your life is, and this also does feel more like a totem animal. So an animal that's here for a little bit, and once you come out of your shell, you will probably find a different spirit animal guide. And this one, actually, I should say, I feel like it might come back from time to time into your life. I don't think it's a power animal though. It doesn't feel quite as attached. It just feels like a gentle guide that will come in and out as you sort of have these like shy or timid phases in your life. So, sorry, as I was saying, the advice coming from it is a lot of words just around. It's so funny. It's almost like saying, let your like who you are shine, like let you out of the box. So everything here I see is just like you, and who you are, what you're good at is like a gift to the world. Like it says abundance. So I do think there's a few different layers of messages here. So if you're a little nervous about if this is like a career thing, taking a new step or coming out to your friends or changing something, because there's a lot of like self-reflection going on here. I feel like you spent a lot of time, like I do almost see you taking time and being a little bit by yourself. So maybe you've been meditating, or maybe you've just been like, instead of going out at night, you've been staying home and just journaling or reflecting on things, or just your mind's going busy on, I do feel like, reflection. And what I see here is that you're kind of like debating where things can go. Like there's two different directions, and I'm not too sure what the subject's around, but there's something better card is telling me that if you've been wondering about moving forward or changing something, this to me is like saying, yes, do it, because what's the right word I'm looking for here? Like, I really feel like these two cards go together and these two go together. This one's saying like there is something better for you. And I do feel like there's a lot of like divine guidance coming through for this pile. Like you like it says, meditation brings answers. So like when you're not sure what to do, or you're not sure because there's like some fear coming up, it's saying like meditate, and that will like reground you, recenter you, and get you back on the path of, or the direction that you're wanting to go. But here it's like there's a little bit of like self-doubt, like that shy energy coming through, where it's like, I feel like you're like saying, I'm not sure if I'm ready. I'm not sure if the world's ready. I might not be good enough at this. And then there's something better card, and Aster Angels is like, no, like you are ready. You have this higher purpose. You have this higher desire to do this new thing, this alternative thing, and you should go for it. That's what I get from these two. And there's something better, is I actually also feel like, what's the right word here? It talks a lot about your confidence and like really letting yourself shine. So there's something there. So I hope that makes sense to this pile. If there's something you've been wondering about, there's a lot also about really being authentically you and really you, because that you is amazing and great. And that I just, yeah, like I said, I feel like there's some shyness. So there's a few different energies here. I don't get so much that you've, like for some card readings, when I get this energy, I think you've drastically changed and not everyone recognizes this. But I think more so that like you might just also even be in a new job around new people you don't really know. And that's why some shyness is coming up. Like you don't want to weird them out. You're a little nervous if they'll like you. That's really specific. So this might just be for one person where you've been feeling really hesitant to really be yourself. in this like new grouping of people you're meeting. Maybe you've just started connecting with some new friends from a group or something like that. And it's saying like, don't be shy. Like these people are going to love you. You're amazing. Like this card, it's so funny because I know it says ask your angels, but what I see is like, just like really like, this is your, what's the word? Like your human self, like wondering, are people going to like me? I'm not sure about myself. Like I'm a little shy. And then I see like, this is like your higher self that's like beautiful and radiant and just like makes everyone around it feel amazing and everyone loves it. And it really just raises the vibration of everyone around. And it doesn't feel like, if you're worried about this being like very ego filled, it's not. It feels very like high vibration, just loving light, wants to see everyone else succeed. It's just a beautiful soul. That's what I see you are, but you're a little nervous if that's how other people are going to see you. There also is little energy that, like, say if it's a new job or a new like hobby you're getting into and you might be really good at it, I think some of you are a bit nervous to be better than others. Like you don't want to make someone else feel bad or not have someone else feel like they're not as good at that activity as you. And so it's like a funny energy. Like you just have such a friendliness and a loving energy that you're like, oh, I don't want to make anyone feel like they're not as good because I've had more practice or I just get it and they haven't gotten it yet. So I don't know. That's also very specific. So they're just saying, don't worry about that. That's just some fears, but it's like your energy is so loving and good. People are only feeling that from you. They're not feeling like you think you're better or like that they're not good. Like if you have any doubts around that, don't think about that because people just feel like this loving energy from you and supportive. This energy feels very supportive. Yeah. Okay. And then over here with this like healing work stuff that's going on, like just everything about you. I feel like you have a really strong connection to your guides, to the universe, God energy, whichever wording you like. The connection there is very strong. And I really feel like your energy itself, when people are around you, they feel that. It feels very loving. It feels like I was saying over here, you want the best for people. It's so beautiful. It's very beautiful and it's really pure. And I think that even might be why you have some of this shy energy is I think you're just such a pure, loving being that you can just get intimidated by these other energies that are on this planet that are a little harsher or a little more judgmental. And I just think with the energy that I see coming from this pile is that you just don't really understand it. It makes you a bit nervous. That's kind of cute, actually. Sorry. So this here, I'm trying to feel it. There's some deeper things going on here. Definitely some messages if you've been wondering about if you will be financially, I want to say like supported by like this healing work. I definitely get that. Yes, it is in your future to have that. And I also keep seeing like that your guides are really like pushing this. Like the angels are really like trying to guide you and lead you down this healing path. Like they're just like, here's all we have to tell you. I feel like they might be giving you lots of downloads, lots of messages. And then they're like helping you find the right people is the messages coming through. Like they're gonna guide you. Like I just see angels everywhere in this energy. And I feel like I see your energy too is just so grateful to be of service. And that is like the most beautiful energy to be in, to basically get all your needs met while also like helping people immensely. So I have great feelings for this pile. It just shows me that, yeah, I really love this. It's like you're just a beautiful little loving healer and you are needing like some Nuummite in your life, some confidence boosting, some clearing stuff. But yeah, if you've been walking around with obsidian or jet in your pocket or been sleeping around it, I'm going to advise this pile to move to tourmaline or Nuummite because I think it's going to be actually more helpful for what you're wanting. If you're feeling nervous or like uncomfortable. I don't want to say fearful necessarily, but like uncertain about yourself, I don't think you should be using obsidian or jet. I actually think, like, especially if someone has this in their bedroom, please get it out of your bedroom. It's very reflective. It's like so obsidian on like a soul level will like mirror all your faults back at you. And sometimes we need this. Some people who like want to bury their head in the sand and don't want to see any of their problems need some obsidian. But for this pile, you're very sensitive and you're very like timid. And if you just have a stone that's always showing you all your faults, that's too intense for you. I think that will just kind of make you go more into your shell, more into the clam. And it's not because you can't face it. It's because your energy is just that you care so much about being a good person that if you like see that you had like a hint of resentment about something, and I mean a hint of it, then I feel like for you, you'd be like, oh no, I'm a bad person. I've got to like work on this. And so it's like almost unproductive. So I hope that makes sense. Like, it's not that you can't face your shadow side, it's that you take it very seriously. And so obsidian or jet right now would not be a good thing to have around you. Tourmaline is good, or Nuummite. If you do have a piece of Nuummite or access to it, it would be the best one, because I was saying it does the same thing as tourmaline, except for it does have this amazing confidence booster. Like, Nuummite won't let you think badly about yourself. That's why it's so amazing. That's why even when you have it, it has a very different energy from all the other clearing stones, because it is like an upper. It's a clearer and an upper. And for someone like this, just feels perfect for your energy, and you don't even need a very big piece. Like, I feel like this stuff is pretty potent, especially for someone like you. I believe you are probably a little more energy sensitive. Like, I know people say that all the time, but the deeper you go into meditation and into, doing energy work, you become very aware of it. And that's really what energy sensitive is just being aware, and gotten used to being aware of energy. So I think if you got a piece of Nuummite, you would feel right away like there's something about it that you like. It's friendly. I don't know if the camera can quite catch it, but there's like these like actual like little sparkles in it. I think there's like iron that makes it sparkly, or copper. Don't quote me, but something in there makes it have specks of like sparkly things. Let's see if it can capture it. I don't know, you can kind of see some like little sparklies. So anyways, that's kind of my thing about it, but that's definitely something for somebody, because I know obsidian is always kind of recommended as a clearing stone, and same with tourmaline. I actually do love tourmaline, but this just has that added confidence thing that I was saying, that it's funny. This crystal is like perfect match of energy as this oyster. Like just the whole coming out of the shell thing and learning to see your gifts and be confident in them and not shy. So it's crazy. It's amazing how randomly I selected crystals and perfectly they have been going with the card underneath. So yeah, just a message for some of you. Stay away from obsidian and jet crystals for now. Doesn't mean forever. I also have to say, if you really love it, don't think you have to get rid of it. It's just like right now, while you're working with this guide, that is like a crystal that what a lot of people would recommend at a crystal shop, but might not realize the mirroring effect would be too much for your energy, because you would get too caught up in the faults and not the confident boosting side you want. Okay. Other things going on here. I don't want to make these readings too long, as I've realized that they've all been longer than I thought. Okay. So there's something better. Confidence. Yeah. Honestly, just to like end this one here, I'm just gonna say, like, you really just, you're on a great path. Like, I just see so much great stuff, so much guidance from your angels, and so much love. Like, they are just like eagerly working with you. And like I said, I just see them like bringing the right people to you, setting up like these crazy synchronicities. to make sure that you know that you're on the right path and that the right people are finding you. Like, I don't know. I feel like there might be people from other countries that randomly find you, and it just seems so weird how they ever found you, because I don't get the impression you're advertising yourself very much, and they find you somehow. So there's just some cool stuff that's going on there. And I just think you're going to go really far in whatever kind of healing career you're in. I think you're going to become pretty well known, at least in your area. That's what I see in your future. Like, there's too much healing energy coming your way for you to not go anywhere. You're just going to help so many people that you will be like, what do they call, like a micro famous or something like that? Like, people will know you, I think, in your areas or in a specific group of healing. You're going to be very well known and really well in demand, might be the right word. So there's a lot in your future. So like they said, keep meditating. If you're doubting yourself, if you're feeling shy, keep meditating. And like this new work thing, like I was saying, I just feel like there's this new situation and you're a little nervous about really being yourself. And they're saying, just go for that. The more you go for it, the more you feel like yourself, and the more you'll get out of this timid energy. It will just happen. Okay, that's all I have for this pile. Best of luck. You've got a lot of great things coming your way. You're just these beautiful little healers. Hello, pile 4. You all chose the piece of citrine. I love this. I love citrine. Probably because I'm a fire sign. I've just found out that was correlated. Okay, then you also got the unicorn deck, which I also love. So I'm excited to see what this pile got, since I'm already biased to all the things that worked out. Butterfly, awesome. Okay, and then we have, for guidance cards, very soon, we have share, love from your parents. Sorry, I thought it said partner. Simplicity. Awesome. Oh, this is so great. I was saying how excited I am to use all like 10 different oracle card decks, so many different crystals, because then you see some cards that you don't usually see come out. So that's amazing. This is happening for this pile. So the animal, or I guess in this case, the insect working with you right now is the butterfly, and this is definitely totem animal energy. It's just here for a little bit, and then once you're out of this phase, a new one will come forward and work with you and guide you through that phase. But definitely the theme for this one is transformation around relationship. And definitely, I think so. When I saw the citrine, it's all about finding new joy and passion. And I always kind of think it as like finding people who make you happy, finding relationships that bring in the energy that you're wanting. And I also see it as a transformational stone personally. So I think that's beautiful with the butterfly energy. With the love your parents, no matter what your mother and father love you as much as they can, and share. When you share, everyone feels happy. I think when it's talking about share, it's talking about sharing what's going on in your heart. And definitely with this butterfly, it's definitely talking about heart healing and relationship healing. So there's a few different things happening here. Okay, so for the advice cards here, I kind of see like this is a little bit more, this is about something different. But for these ones, I see like this is what's being worked on. Like all the colors are a little more pastel, a little more not as bright is maybe the word I want to use. Which tells me that you're still working on this. This is what you are being challenged by right now. A lot of childhood healing, I believe, and I think there probably was a few events where you felt unsupported and unloved by your parents. And I think for someone here, this could be specific, you might even have felt betrayed by them. Like, yeah, they're just saying some event within the family. So maybe you have siblings or something like that, and your parents sort of betrayed. I don't know, something around that. Sorry, general reading. So there's a few different situations. So if that's the case, then they don't usually tell me what's specifically happening other than like a sense of betrayal from parents. And the thing that this comes up from isn't that you need to forgive them, but it's more so understanding that your parents came from a generation where they are just copying what their parents did for them. And if it was unsupportive, if it was like an immature parenting style, I think they've just literally copied it and done the same to you, because they're kind of like saying they just didn't know better. They didn't think to challenge the way they were raised. And this isn't coming up as a reason to, like I said, forgive them. But I feel like part of this healing of your heart, healing of this relationship wound, is going to be to really see that your parents are just these, I feel like they have like a child energy, like they're like an injured children, and that they were just traumatized, injured children trying to raise other children. But their way of doing it was almost like showing like they basically had exchanged roles with their parents. So they were doing to you what was done to them, and they were just playing out that pattern. But I do think that in some ways they might have been a little gentler with you than their parents were with them. And that's, like I said, not to make you feel like you need to forgive them. There's really just like this element of understanding why they were the way they were, that like your mind almost needs, because you don't understand it. And so it's saying like learning to see the perspective they came from, not because you're cutting them a break, but because like there's just a part of you who doesn't understand why they did what they did and how they could do that to their own kids. And that's the part that needs to like understand that they literally were just like kids copying their parent and doing it to you. Yeah. And then that they, I guess that's what they're saying, like they loved you the best way they knew how, and they've like on a mental level or a maturity level actually didn't know how to do it differently or how to be a parent differently. But I get for this pile, not everyone, but some of you do have kids of your own. And that's what adds another layer of perplexion to you, because you're just like, would never do this to my kids. And you might even say that and you don't have kids. So it's just, yeah, there's a lot of like healing around how you see them and understanding how they could like, they say the guys keep saying the word betray you, how they could betray their own kids, how they could do this to their own children. So that's still being worked on. And it just takes time, like how I see it. You're nowhere in the wrong place or anything like that. It just takes time. And that's why this little butterfly spirit is here with you, because it comes for like huge transformations and to help you. And it's like seeing that you don't want to repeat the pattern. I even think that you don't even really want to like have this like frustration and anger and like confusion and like gross feelings towards them. So you even want to heal it so you just can be free of those emotions and they don't have to take up space in your body anymore. So the very soon card, what you're asking for will happen soon in a happy way. I think that some of you are trying to manifest in some better people. So I don't think it's necessarily a better relationship with your parents that you're manifesting in, but like having someone who could support you, like family, who isn't necessarily blood relatives, something along those lines they're saying, because they're saying, this is definitely all relationship related and finding more, what's the word I'm looking for? More harmonious relationships, more supportive relationships. and more understanding relationships is a big one for, I think, this pile. People just understand you and support you. And I think you just want people you can laugh with, like that you can just actually go and have a good time with, and you don't have all this drama. And I think that's the other part that you're struggling with, is that there's a lot of drama from these parents of yours. And it can be exhausting and very confusing. I get that. Every time I think about the parent energy for you all, it's just so confused about why they do what they do. How are they, like, what is going on? How can someone be like that? And that's just some healing that needs to be done. Like I said, not that you have to forgive them and bring them into your life or anything, but like I was saying, just understanding that their parents, I think, were a harsher version of what they are to you, to them. And they just, in their societal times, accepted that as what parents were. They just were like, that's what a parent is. That's what we do. That's just how it works. And I also think there's just like this undeveloped inner child side of them, where they just never parented their own inner child. I don't feel like they really grew up. Like, I feel like they almost seemed like kids who had kids and then never did any personal work. But also the guides keep reminding me that that's actually very normal for their era. Doesn't make it okay, but they just were some of those who fell into that staying young forever era. Let's see here. So this share card, it's interesting because I was just sort of asking if this is about you sharing more with friends in your life or supportive people, but they actually very clearly told me like a counselor or a therapist or just some sort of professional who works in that would be the best place to share for this heart healing. Like I was saying, there's a lot of like needing to understand how a person could be that way or how they could do the things they do. And they're not saying necessarily you have to go all the time, but I just, when I asked, what is this about? They're saying like, if you could find someone just to hear you out, I think that would be very healing, because I think for this pile, the parents kind of make you feel crazy if you talk about things. So just having that place to speak is going to be very healing. And just also something about you verbalizing it out loud and hearing it back is going to do something positive for this group. Profound, they say. It's going to be profound. Let's see here. So simplicity, this is kind of talking about some advice on just helping you day to day. And also funny is the butterfly talks a lot about having a routine. And here simplicity is basically saying the same thing about routine. Put your energy into the basics and let go of excess. So I just get that this is like quite a lot for you to handle right now. Like there's just a lot of emotions coming up and going through. And they're saying like having something you do every day as like a little self-care or as a little time to yourself is really important, like to prioritize like a safe space for yourself. And like they're saying, I think this is a lot of energy that you're going through working on this block. This is a huge thing that you're like I said, butterflies only come when there's huge transformations. Like you're changing like a pattern. Like for this with your parents, it's definitely been generational. You definitely, I think, are shifting out of that. You won't be that for your kids, whether you have them or not. And you know that you want to be something different. So simplicity is just talking about, I think like they're saying like if you like it, obviously don't have to do if you don't, but they're showing me like doing like stretching or like yoga in the morning, and that being like your time to just calm your body, be in your body and do something nice for it. Or I can see like they're very big about the morning. So if you're just a morning person, that could make sense. But they keep seeing like the sun's like rising and you're maybe doing a meditation or you're doing a walk in the park. And some of you might have dogs. So you might like to walk your dog in the morning and that feels really good. And maybe you've been a little bit busy and you've missed a few days, this is like a little reminder to say, do that. It's great for the dog, but it's also so great for you. And there's something about being outside in those mornings, specifically for this pile, something about early morning is amazing for you. I think it feels calming and peaceful before the busyness of the day can kind of get to you or take your focus. So it's really like saying morning is really good for this pal right now. If you even have like a workout you like to do, or if there's like, I don't know, there's some kind of routine, hopefully that's making you think of something in your life that you like to do, but in the mornings. But they're saying follow that. If it's something that makes you feel good, do it. But it's just taking care of a basic need. That's what it is doing, like feeling calm and at peace and getting some movement in. And yeah, okay. I'm gonna let that one go because I'm not getting more answers. They're just showing me the sun rising and outdoors, and I see some people stretching, and I see some people walking, and I feel calm and peaceful. And that's what they want for you. So maybe that's just where I'll leave it. Okay, so let's see. Anything else this butterfly spirit has to share with you? Just that if you are feeling overwhelmed or out of balance, it just goes back to saying like, create some routine to get those needs met. So it doesn't mean you're gonna have to be in routine all the time, but there's something about the routine and the structure of it being like feeling safe for this pile. And maybe it's because you didn't have any routine as a kid. Maybe you were lacking a sense of security as a child, and something about having a routine right now to make sure that your needs are met is going to be good. It's going to create like this safe space for you to go into this like deeper emotional work that is kind of hard, right? There's a lot to dive through there, and I think there's a lot of pain. And for this pile, it's just a lot of not understanding that's really, I think, getting to you right now, and not previously being able to share what's in your heart and having it like held in a safe space. So I do see that is changing, and that I don't know for sure, but I just feel like you are calling in like better relationships, and I see them saying like it's coming your way. The healing work, doing this healing work is what gives space for you to be able to have these better relationships, because you're going to know what a healthy dynamic looks like, and you're going to know who to filter out and who to keep in, and the red flags that maybe you didn't see before because your parents were like a role model of all the red flags, but you didn't know that at the time. Okay, I think this is where I'm going to leave this pile. I hope this brought some clarity into some things for you. Definitely see that this will be around for a little bit, this butterfly spirit. But like I said, it just comes when there's big transformative generational changing work that's happening. So it's a really great sign that things are shifting for you and that you are doing the work. You are not going to be repeating any patterns in your family line. You are going to make sure of that, and that you're going to have some better relationships that can support you. And I just see that your heart's going to have a safe place. So I even see this too. It's that like your heart's a little timid about letting some people in because of lessons learned growing up, and just maybe even some wounding from the parents. And I do see that it's healing as well. There's a lot of things healing. So you're in a really beautiful place, but it's very tiring. So don't forget to establish some routines to make sure you're getting your exercise if it makes you feel good. You're eating food that your body loves, and that you're just getting that self-care you need into your day. Okay, you all have a good one. I wish you the best of luck here. Hello, Pile 5. You all chose the smile piece of Kambaba or Kambaba Jasper. So let's see what you got here. We have bear for the spirit animal. And then the Oracle card deck was from Dragon deck. So you have Golden Solar Dragon, Archangel Gabriel's Dragon, Rose Pink Dragon, and you actually got 2 more. Just make some more room. Green Dragon, and you also got the Fire Dragon, which looks super cool. Okay, hit on here. Boom. All right, I love the dragon card, so I'm very excited to do this pile. So whenever I get this bear card from this deck, you might even have seen a card reading of mine with this bear before. I get the same energy as I have in previous times that it comes up, where the bear spirit to me comes forward when we know we need to change. We know we need to step into a new version of ourselves, but we're a little bit afraid to. We are, by some ways, I almost get it like a worrying bear. Like it worries about the challenges ahead. It worries about how it's going to make it. It worries about what's going to happen. There's just like a lot of worry and there's just like longing to stay where they are, but there's something that happens that doesn't allow you to stay there anymore. And so that could be, say you get fired from a job and all of a sudden you have no choice but to leave it and move on. And it's like a blessing in disguise if that's the situation you're in, because it wasn't serving you. You were not living your fullest potential, staying in that career. It was just comfortable and familiar. So it's things like that. So if you've also just gotten out of a relationship that was comfortable, but you weren't really fully engaged in anymore, that would be another situation that could be happening. You could be moving and there's like that worry because you could stay where you are. But like I said, the overall energy is you're leaving something that was too comfortable, that you knew in and out, that wasn't challenging you, that wasn't really allowing you to be what you were supposed to be, if that makes sense. It was too limiting, it was too simple, and now you are transitioning into something new because something happened that kind of forced you to no longer stay in that comfortable, familiar place. So a lot of these cards are talking about having protection, having protection from spirit, from your guides, and them watching over you. So let's see. And they're also talking a lot about starting to get into a leadership role, to really like take charge of your life. So here it says helps you stand in your masculine power with wisdom. And this fire dragon, or Archangel Gabriel dragon, so this one here is all about leadership as well. And when I think of masculine energy, I do often think of leadership, like taking action and being a leader. It doesn't mean that all leaders are male, just that it calls you to stand in the masculine energy to get there, because it is the energy of doing, taking action. And I think that's what you are needing right now. So that being said, this Archangel Gabriel dragon talks a lot about ascending higher. So you stepping into the higher version of yourself, getting rid of old blocks, getting rid of anything that used to hold you back from your beliefs. So it could be like things from that past situation you were in, getting rid of old comfort levels and stepping into new ones, just overall growth. And this fire dragon talks about same thing, letting go of past blocks, past limiting beliefs really just soaring. So the fire dragon says burns up lower energies around you. Literally, this is what this dragon comes in your life to do. It protects you, and it goes even into past lives where some of these blocks might be coming from, and they clear and eliminate them for you. They're also known for trying to essentially like clear your path ahead if you give them permission, of course. So they like to come in and basically, if you feel blocked or like there's lots of obstacles, this kind of dragon would come in to make the right path for you clear. And if you hit obstacles, that's a sign that that is the wrong path. So the easy path is the path that your guides, these dragon spirits, have cleared for you to get to where you need to be. And that's almost like their way of saying, like, if it's hard, if it's not working out, if you're trying to make plans and they're constantly falling through, that is a sign that that is not going to lead to the simplest and most direct path for you to go on, if that makes sense. Like, you could do it, but it might not be in your highest good right now to do it. Like, the person might not be aligned with you right now, and just things like that. They'll just help get rid of the blocks to make the clearest direct path. And the other thing here, it's talking a lot about heart healing. So Green Dragon helps you tune into the secrets of nature, receive answers and guidance from nature, align with your divine essence. And this one here says, open your heart to warm-hearted love and diamond light. Connect with the love of the universe. It's interesting because diamond light comes up twice with Archangel Gabriel and with this rose pink dragon. It's so interesting. I definitely just see like this ascension for you. You're on a path of a further ascension. Like, as soon as it says all these cards about burning away, getting rid of old burdens, old beliefs, old limiting beliefs about yourself, and stepping into this heart-centered, higher vibration, and stepping into a leadership role. So I'm not too sure what type of leadership role this is going to be. Definitely just with the energy of this card though, of this card reading, is that this bear is on a journey to transcend their limits and their blocks, and then going to show others how to be a stronger, empowered version themselves. And you're doing this through demonstration. So you already have a lot of other people who look up to you, but I think you're going to continue this path so that you elevate and go higher, because like I was saying, where you came from, you're very comfortable, you're very good at it. I think people looked up to you already because you were so good at it, and now it's time for you to grow, for you to be back on the journey of growth and self-development. Very cool. I'm trying to see what else is coming through here. A lot of third eye blocks going on here. So I'm just trying to see what is going on with that. Okay, so a lot of blocks in the third eye that are also related to, just like I was saying, you're very comfortable. You weren't really living like a very like inspired, passionate life when you were stuck in either this old job, this old relationship, whatever it was very comfortable and boring for you. And I feel like it changed how you saw life. It kind of changed what you were looking forward to. I don't know if you looked forward to a lot, if you just really just felt bored is the energy they keep showing me, but it was comfortable and it felt safe. But this new path is going to change that. You're literally on a path of finding like a spark again, excitement, eagerness to wake up and do a certain activity, just like such a different energy from over here. Safe, and like safe is just too safe is boring. There's no unknown factor that keeps us interested and in the present. So that is definitely something that you are going to be changing. I definitely see that. And just, yeah, this heart-centered energy coming through, coming more from the heart and from being present and connecting on a deeper level with the people around you. And I think with yourself, even like having a deeper relationship with yourself and being more honest with yourself. So I think previously, if you were in a situation where you're a bit bored, I don't think you wanted to really go much deeper than that, because you just, I mean, it just felt like you were so, I don't know, I keep using the word bored, but that doesn't quite like establish the word right. You're just so like, what's the point of this life? It's like nothing's exciting. Nothing's really like gets you going. It's not like a depression, but it was just like a, why are we here? Why do I wake up every day? Like what is there that keeps me wanting to wake up every day? And I trying to convey that energy, but I hope if you're resonating with this pile, that will make sense to you. So that's going to completely shift. There's this new wonder coming in, this new excitement. Yeah, just so much going on. Lots of clearing work. As I was saying that before, a lot of getting rid of those old things that no longer serve you. So maybe one of the last things I just want to comment on for this pile is a lot of these are talking about transformation and a need for trust. So I think this bear has a hard time trusting the unknown. And all these cards are talking about you being safe and taking a chance and trusting your guides. Trusting your own intuition is the other thing too. So you might just have a lot of nudges lately about just needing to go somewhere or being somewhere and you don't know why. Or you might feel like you just know something, but you have no rhyme or reason. And they're saying, trust that something has woken up within you and that now you are, what's the word I'm looking for? I think like now you are waking up. Your connection to your guides and spirit is just like really being strengthened right now. And it's really awake. And I think that's also why you couldn't stay in this old place that you were, this old job, career, circumstances. I mean, I just feel like, bam, you are awakened, things change. And although you were not certain about it and it feels hard to trust and you're a little in the unknown, it's all meant to be. That's what they keep saying. You're on the right path. It's all in divine timing. Everything is happening at the right time for you. It's all going to be okay. All these guides talk so much about protecting you and keeping an eye on you and making sure that people who don't serve you stay away, or that you notice something within you knows not to trust the wrong people. Like you're just, I don't know, you're awake now and there's no way for you to go back to the old. That's when I see this bear card coming through. So this is an energy that you are just in right now. This bear is only here to help you through this, like that kind of energy, waking up, knowing that you are no longer able to be in the place you were. It's like, if you really think about like a bear hibernating, like they wake up, they can't stay in that cave forever because it will kill them. They will die. They have needs. They have things they have to live for and go and find, and they can't stay in that cave because it won't meet their needs anymore. And it was good for them for a time, but now it's time for them to venture out and find all these things. And that's you. You're in a place now where you need to leave the old and venture into the new, this heart-centered way of seeing the world, this leadership role that you're being called to, this doing the deep work, getting rid of old limiting beliefs. It's like whether they're past life, whether they're ancestral patterns. I feel like there's quite a few different blocks and limiting beliefs that are going to come up and that you were working through. And spend a little more time in nature, especially now. If you've always were like, well, I never really liked doing that. They're saying try it again because, like they said, you're awake now. You are able to see things that you couldn't before. So going somewhere specifically that has a lot of living green things. I don't mean like just going outside in a city. They would like a park or a forest or a place where there's lots of flowers growing, or green grass. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Don't go somewhere where it's like a city park but has like one tree and some dead grass. That's not the place where you want to go. You want to go higher vibration. You want to go where there's lots of life, lots of moss, little creeks. Yeah, that's going to be a very magical place for you. And you're just going to get messages or downloads there. You might find yourself suddenly thinking about something. Just trust all that. That's the way you're receiving messages right now. And the call is to learn to trust it and believe it and follow that guidance. Okay, that is all I have for this pile. And I guess also as a little reminder here is to smile and not take life too seriously. Because I feel like that's the other thing for this pile is that you had gotten into the habit of not living, loving, and laughing as much. And you're working your way back to that. Okay. You all have a good one, and I will catch you around. Okay, pile 6, I believe we're on. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But either way, you chose the blue goldstone that says courage. You all chose a love reading pile. So the spirit animal with you, with you right now is the beaver. Okay, that already says a lot. And the advice cards we have for you is you deserve love. You are lovable. Passion, allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. Forgiving and learning, as you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments and release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. Okay. They've got some advice for you. Where to start here? Okay, so I kind of see these two cards as being together, and then these ones are kind of over here together. So let's start with the beaver. Okay, so the beaver energy. Very interesting. It tells me a lot about who you are as people. It's interesting because I think it's tough to say. Some of you might actually have the beaver as a power animal. So like this is just your energy and this is who you are. But I think the majority, this is just a spirit animal or a totem animal that's with you during this phase of your life. But as it comes through, it tells me a lot about the habits you've been in your love relationships. And I think for some of you, it goes past love relationships, just in relationships in general. So the beaver spirit is like a hard worker who never gives up. That's a good way to put the beaver. So it's showing me that like in relationships, if the person that you're with, whoever they are, I think they're in friendships, or in this case, they're talking about romantic partnerships. The other person, I believe they could probably cheat on you. They could probably put in a quarter of the effort, and I think they could just basically be lazy or do like essentially nothing in the relationship. And because of the energy they're showing me, you would still keep seeing that relationship through because you believe in loyalty. You believe in like your priorities are in home and in relationship and building a home for your relationships. So it doesn't mean that all your partners have been that way, but what they're showing me is that if they were like these kind of like not putting a lot of effort in, kind of lazy, or even cheating on you, you would take it upon yourself to try to work it through in that relationship. You aren't someone who's just going to turn around and say, well, this is over. You're more like, well, let's talk it through. Let's see how we can change it. Let's see how we can fix this relationship. What did I do wrong? What did I not offer you or bring you that you needed? And you take a lot of accountability and you want to create that space for them to feel safe and be the best partner they can be. But what they're showing me though is that in your past relationships, or in one significant past relationship at least, and it wasn't that long ago, like maybe it was years ago since you dated someone, but they're saying like the last person you dated or the second last person you dated, because there's some people in this pile that are currently in a relationship with someone else but think about their ex. And there's other ones who aren't in another relationship but have dated casually but are still thinking about this ex relationship, this significant person. And I'm going to try to word this as kindly as I can. I get that this ex was kind of intoxicating, but not a great partner. Like I said, I see you prioritizing them, feeling accountable and responsible, and like you need to do something to create a safer space. But I get that this partner essentially not good, like lazy. I feel for some people, this doesn't mean everyone, there was cheating involved in this relationship on their side, and I just think that's their energy. I don't get that this person was going to change or grow anytime soon. If you think they've changed because they've said it or people around them are saying they've changed, I wouldn't really believe that based off of the energy that these guides are showing me, that they're very good at changing and giving the illusion of things, but at a soul level, they are still the same person. They're kind of lazy in relationships. I do believe that there's some here that cheat regularly and that don't do the work that say you are putting in the relationship. Because like I said, for you prioritize relationship. You want to create a nice safe space. Like beavers work on their homes for like weeks and months, and they want to make it perfect and beautiful and supportive. That's what you are like in relationship. So this ex relationship, they're not going to let me not talk about this. I get the words that, so this is specific, so do realize that this might not be for everyone. They say that some of you created a contract with this person because you said the words, "I'll always love you." And people can say that, but the emotion behind which you said that created like a contract with this ex. Like you almost, it was by accident. They do say that it was by accident. You felt like you really meant it, but you kind of created, like an ethereal contract with this ex that you will always love them. So the first thing that your guides are telling me is that we have got to get rid of that contract. True, like when they say release your ex, they literally mean like release that contract. You don't need to be tied to this person. Like, how do I put it? As the third person looking in, this looks like a relationship that was just horrible for you, but you felt for some reason you couldn't let it go because it felt intoxicating. And so me not being in the relationship, I'm like, wow, we like, forget that loser is like the words I want to say. That's just like what they're showing me. They're kind of like, they could be the most successful financially, the best looking person in the world, but like their soul energy and how they treat others is just so not the way that I like to see people treated or valued or respected. That to me, that's like kind of like what I would refer to as a loser, which is like totally against society. So, but that's the energy they're like projecting. You're very respectful. You want to love. You're like a little loving home building beaver, and then they're just kind of like the opposite of that. They're the people who kind of find people like you so that they can just kind of like float by through life easier because they know that you're going to keep taking accountability for their mistakes and keep trying to fix things, and they won't really have to do much work. And that's kind of just, that's like what I mean by like loser energy. So I'm sorry, because I do say you do care about this person and you're always like thinking about them, but they really aren't like in alignment with your values or how you even want to like people to feel after they interact with you or treat people. They're just very different. But like they said, there's like this addictive attraction that you have to them that keeps you coming back. And then I think you get in the relationship and you're like, this feels kind of horrible. There's these extreme highs. It feels like a drug. That's what it is. It feels like a weird drug that you can't escape from. You have an addiction to, even though it's almost harming you. So you don't have to release that contract with them, but I feel like just to see if that helps with this addiction sort of mentality towards them, or this like feeling like they're hard to let go of, I think it would help, because then you wouldn't at least have a contract like binding you with them. So we can clear that at the end for any of those who want to. Some people I feel like are gonna not want that, so you don't have to. This is your free will. You do what you want. I'm just here as a messenger. So, and then this forgiving and learning. So this is kind of referring to this releasing card. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. So it's funny because your guides are kind of saying, well, we've been trying to tell you that they aren't a really great person for you and they're not really aligned with you, and that we want better for you and you deserve like someone who's just as loving and giving and beautiful as you. But they say you haven't always heard them. You almost like can't hear them say those words at all. Like I think this would come even in ways of friends telling you this, others telling you this, and for some reason there's like a block there for you on hearing that. They do say it comes from upbringing and just what you got used to seeing. So maybe your parents had sort of a toxic relationship with each other. That I hate to say it, but in this energy it's kind of saying it's more likely that it was your father figure who was in this role. So it was like your dad wasn't very kind to your mom, or it could be a stepdad wasn't respectful of your mom, or your mom dated a lot of, I'm just like, I was going to say, like, I call it like loser energy. They could be so financially successful. They could, according to social standards, be like a super catch, but for my standards of like the energy, like they don't want to do a lot of work in a relationship. They expect someone else to figure out all the problems and take accountability for their mistakes and for the relationship dynamics. And they're just like in a relationship, they're lazy and they don't really have like mutual respect. Like I was saying, that energy, I just consider loser energy. I'm so sorry if that's like insulting to some of you, but yeah, to me, I'm like, that's just not a nice way to treat people in the world, and I just don't like it. So I feel like your stepdad, dad, or your mom had boyfriends while you were growing up, or just was all surrounded by this. And it's really saying that it was like your mother's like habits. And I feel like you saw again and again this dynamic. It could even been with friends or just males in general that she had interacted with, always like giving up her power, kind of letting them bully her is the energy I get. And I think this is one of those things where you do inherit your family's limiting beliefs and things that they do. Okay, I'm sorry about that. My camera battery just died, but maybe it's for the best because I feel like some of you have heard this many times from friends and other people, and I feel like you almost are tired of hearing it, but it's coming up again and again because your angels are actually like leading these messages to you. So it's not just people trying to be nice or, you know, like are on your side. They're saying, we really just want you to hear this message because it's true. And I think you've been struggling with this for years, attracting in these people. But like I said, it feels so addictive. It's intoxicating. It almost feels like you can't let them go, but you almost need to treat them like an addiction. Like, you have that intoxication to it, you have that like craving for it, but know that it's not serving you. It's a temporary fix. And then it always kind of like bites you, if that makes sense. It eventually comes and hurts you. And that's just not what your guides want to see. I also see them saying, like, yes, it is in your soul purpose here to break this pattern. Like I said, I do think it was from your mom. It doesn't matter your gender. I really get that it was your mom and how she allowed men to treat her. And just like, I just see that she like would beg people for their forgiveness. She would just completely take full accountability of things that were not in any way her fault. And I think that just was such a mirror for you, that you just ended up that way, right? Like, because we do, like I said, inherit our family's lessons and patterns, and they were role models. So you just learned that that's what you do. That's just like such a strong dynamic that you saw. So the advice here from your guides and from this beaver is that I get that it's saying don't give up on love, but understand that this isn't love. This is like intoxication. This is like addiction, because you're putting out all the love, and this other person, they're just like I said, they're like that opportunist kind of loser energy, where they're like, this is a great person. I don't have to do a lot of work if I can just kind of do whatever I want. And they'll feel bad if something doesn't go right, and they'll try to fix it, and they'll try to create a safe space so I can just kind of hang out here and do what I want. So your guides are saying there's better out there. This passion card, I love that they put this one out for you. This is allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. So that's a big one. So right now it's kind of like addictive. It's not, I don't think, coming from a heart place. Like I'm saying, I'm not saying that you're not truly feeling love for this person, but it feels more like sexual tension, addiction, versus this comes from the heart and like the sacral. There's like that lust, but there's also like this heart felt safety and happiness and security and joy. And they say that you're ready for a relationship like this. Like, you are so ready. And I have a suspicion, it's kind of funny to say this, but like, some of you who are dating someone, you are dating an amazing person, but this block with this addictive feeling from your ex, they think you're like, oh, well, that's what true attraction is. That's what true love is. And they're saying, no, like this is like literally an addiction. This is love. Your heart feels safe. It feels happy. It laughs. It feels heard. That's a big thing. In this pile, you're not heard. In this partnership, you are. And it's interesting. They said there could be a little bit of a block around not being fully open to being loved like that. Like, you not being sure if you deserve it. This is what you've always had, and it feels like they never valued you. And this here feels like they value you and they love you. And it's like almost a little confusing. It's going to take some getting used to. But they're saying, like, if you are in partnership, it is important to work on this partnership, because this relationship that you're currently in, or the next one coming in, for some of you who are in partnership, I just have to mention, like, I think you have a loving, supportive soulmate hanging around you, kind of just waiting until you're ready to release this ex to come in. That's kind of what they're showing me. Like, I think you've been battling this type of dynamic for, I get, years. I think even for some decades, depending on your age. And I feel like this soulmate, literally, they just show me it's just like hanging around, waiting for you to be ready. And they want to be with you. They are like destined to be with you. And they're just waiting for you to be in a place where you can release this like addictive person, and be in a place of, I just want love. And I do feel like they're going to be also kind of beaver energy, where they come in and they are like loving and kind and compassionate and gentle and respectful, and they want to hear all your thoughts. Everything that you kind of offered to this other person that they kind of just like threw back at you, this person also embodies, and that's what's so beautiful. And then I don't know if I talked about it, but blue goldstone is all about kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Building you up is maybe the right word. Like, it's funny because when I was first looking at this courage stone and then I was looking at where I randomly put decks, I was like, oh, I hope this falls on the romance deck, because I feel like this person, courage, is talking about needing courage to let go of that and move forward on this more harmonious, loving path. And it just feels great. And goldstone, I think, is going to help boost your confidence, see your value, and also it talks about accepting yourself for the shadow and the light. And I think that's what's important, is I think this is also addictive, because if you're not fully looking at your shadow, your limiting beliefs, like that stuff that's coming from your patterns from your parents, if you're not really noticing that or being aware of that within yourself, you're not totally catching yourself going into like bad limiting beliefs or toxics. Like, what am I trying to say? Like your inner child is acting up and you go towards this bad person, or sorry, I shouldn't say bad person, this addictive person. So you feel alone, you feel isolated, you feel like chaotic or unsafe because things aren't feeling normal to you. So you go back to this person. And they're saying, if you learn to accept and identify your limiting beliefs and your patterns, and you know what's going on within yourself more, you will catch yourself and know how to stop yourself before you get to the stages where you would normally go back to this person or these type of people. But I have to be honest, for this pile, I think it's the same person. I think you keep going back to them. I mean, that's just the energy I get. They keep showing me one person, toxic, not good, but you always end up back there because you get a lot of triggered moments, a lot of things come up, you get overwhelmed, you go back to something you know, because this is like your family patterns. This person reminds you of what it was like when you were a kid, whether it's between your mom and dad or just like a dynamic that you know and familiar. It doesn't mean it's good, it's just what you know. So when you're overwhelmed and in a triggered, reactive state, you go back. So courage to look at all of yourself, accept it for what it is, and then you won't find yourself going down this path as much, this recurring pattern. And like I said, I think for some of you might have someone in your life and they're just saying, you might have a self-destructive pattern where you might end it with this person and go back to this toxic thing. And it's saying, don't do that. Well, obviously you can always do whatever you want, but the guidance is that this relationship is actually very safe and loving and supportive. And that that's part of your lesson to learn, is that you can be safe in a relationship. This person is safe. They're not going to drop the other shoe. This weird side isn't going to randomly pick out, come out, sorry. This is just this person. This is not this relationship. And if you're not in one, like I said, it's all about realizing that you deserve better. And like, there's so much white about clearing work and so much red about clearing old patterns coming from your family and stepping into this new place that has passion and safety and you're heard and seen. I hope I'm communicating this clearly for you all. So that's what I see that your angels and your guides want for you in your future. But like I said, free will exists. And I think your angels are telling me they've tried to get you out of this a few times, but you've just found your way back again and again. And I think it is almost for you having to know that this is like an addiction, and that, like I said, it is a trigger. It's when you're overwhelmed emotionally, you feel out of control, that you go back to something you know. Our inner child doesn't make sense to us. It will go back to something destructive because it's familiar. So when it's overwhelmed, at least it knows what it is. At least it knows what it's about. So they're just saying, be aware of that, because I think that's a big part. So if all of a sudden there's a lot going on and you're questioning this relationship that you're already in and you're going back, know that there's something going on here. You're feeling triggered. You got to go deeper, figure out what's going on within yourself so that you're not self-sabotaging this relationship, or even just yourself, because this relationship over here, this ex, makes you feel bad and doesn't make you feel good. Okay. I think that's all I have to say about this. As I said at the start, though, we are going to clear this contract for you all if you want to. Like I said, you don't have to. Okay, well, that is impressive. Somehow 3 of my camera batteries died while I was trying to do this contract removal for you. So I don't know what that says, but if you are wanting to, please affirm or say yes, and we will release or essentially burn up this contract for you. The one that says what was it? It's like, I'll never stop loving you, or I'll always love you. So I'm going to call on Archangel Michael on behalf of the collective who are agreeing to this, to please step forward with love and light and for the highest good of all involved. I'm just going to ask him on your behalf to please bring forward this contract, this accidental verbal contract that was made, binding you to this ex-person, with the words that you said, not realizing the oral contract that was formed. And now, if all of you would like to visualize that contract burning up from the bottom right corner, and then it's burning the rest of the contract. And I just ask that Archangel Michael release the words that were said and release this oath or this contract that was made. Okay, I'm just going to ask if there's anything else that the collective needs. Okay, so then we're also just going to finish this with a general cord cutting. So I like to focus on putting you in a pillar of love and light, and then I send love down through all the cords attached to you, especially to this person. And then on your behalf, I also say, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. God bless. And I ask that Archangel Michael please cut all the cords and leave only the lessons in the love, and release the rest. Okay. All right, I think that is all that is necessary. Archangel Michael is just clearing your aura a little bit. And then that will be it. He will be on his way for now. Okay, well, hopefully that will make a difference in the heaviness of this relationship. This might only have ended up being for 1 or 2 people who needed this. Either way, glad that that came forward for you. And if it helps with this connection and moving away from it and moving more into this loving, supportive what's the word? Just get this heart-centered relationship, then that is amazing. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's your life. You have free will, and you get to choose the life you want to live and experience. So it's really up to you at the end of the day. Okay, this is all I have for you. Wishing you the best. Just know that you deserve an amazing, supportive partner that puts in all the same effort that you do into the relationship. Hello, pile 6. You all chose this pyramid here. Okay, we are gonna get into it. So I believe you got an extra card from the other piles. So your animal spirit that's with you right now is a raccoon. And then your oracle cards are listen to your intuitive feeling, power animal, throat chakra, indigo, and hold on a second here. And heal away addictions. Okay, so the fact that it says power animal makes me think that for some of you, the raccoon isn't just a totem animal, but an actual power animal. So it's an animal that is with you for life. It's like a guardian angel, but it's the spirit animal version. If it's your power animal, this could mean that this is just phases that you go through in life, that this is something that isn't just like a one-off, that you find yourself kind of in this pattern, and it's just natural with who you are. And that pattern would be, how would I put it? It's almost like a very artistic energy, like, sorry, I'm trying to find the right words here. Like someone who can go through such inspirational, passionate, creative phases, and then all of a sudden have like writer's block, or like a block in your creativity and your inspiration in your ideas, and it's very like it just feels very artistic, like all of a sudden you can't communicate. What's the word it's using? Sorry, I might need to restart here. It's almost like you go through crisis in your identity. So I feel like a raccoon to me looks like it's stuck playing two personas. Like there's two sides to it. Like there's one side which is maybe like the theatrical side. It might be like the storyteller part of you, the one that does it through art or through writing books or through some form of artistic expression. It could even be like some people here might even come up with like some kind of new invention kind of ideas, just like this brilliance. And then there's this other side of you, but I almost get it's like it's I don't know how to quite to explain it. It's like not as confident, not as sure of itself. Like where does it even get these ideas? It kind of has that like imposter syndrome feeling to it. But this is like I'm saying all like these weird phases you can go in. So I feel like right now you could be in a blocked phase. So if you call it writer's block or like an artistic block, or even if you're someone who has like a lot of great inventive ideas right now, you're feeling blocked and you can't find a solution. they have some advice for you. And I think, like I said, unfortunately, this might just be the ups and downs that you just go through. And it's just, I think, very natural to just go in and out of like these very divinely inspired ideas. So there's so many blocks right now in the throat chakra. And it's also funny that you got the throat chakra card. So advice from spirit is, oh, we might have a cat staying around. Hello, Millie. Okay, the advice from spirit. Let's see. Your body is receiving accurate messages from the divine. So this one really speaks out because I feel like often you are receiving like this very direct flow of inspiration or inspired ideas from your guides, from source, whatever you choose to use the wording around. It's very like directly channeled from you and you're like very connected. So what happens when you get in these lulls is you get a bit disconnected, and their advice, I think, would be there's some things you do to get back in that in touch space. So if you do meditation, a little bit of a shout out to do that, or to go outdoors. There's a lot of outside activity here to help you feel more grounded. I know some people prefer specifically being near water, so be by an ocean or a lake. That could be great if that resonates with you. And then the indigo card, I think, really just fits in well with just indigo children are usually, well, I guess when I see in this deck, I always refer to them as star children. But depending on your age, you might actually be an actual indigo child. I'm trying to think, roughly the ages would be people who are 35 or older would be indigo children if there were going to be one. But honestly, the energy of this reading I'm getting is that it's more just symbolizing starseed energy. So it says the person you're inquiring about is an indigo, being a highly sensitive natural born leader. So I just really get that someone who's sensitive to energies, someone who came into this world and was kind of destined to be more clairvoyant, more connected to the guides, more attuned with energies, and basically someone who can help channel in these great divine ideas onto this planet. And I really just think that is perfectly said with this energy of you, like basically like it feels artistic, but in a lot of ways like fantasy, like if you write fiction, or if you are trying to channel in an idea that, or a painting or sculpture that looks from another planet, it really is. It actually is. So in a lot of ways, you're channeling information that is off planet to this planet. So it's really cool. This Heal Away Addictions card, it's time to let go of behaviors that are blocking you from your heart's desires. Ask Archangel Raphael to help you with this healing. I think they're talking about the behaviors or patterns you can get into when you start to feel blocked. Hello, second cat. Okay, a lot of cats in this reading. I haven't been in any yet, so that's a bit funny. Okay, so when I see this Heal Away Addictions, as I was saying, I think they're really talking about, the unhealthy patterns you get into once you start to feel blocked. And it's almost like it's such a different energy, right? Like you go from this feeling certain, inspired, things are clear, and then you get into this place where you feel like uncertain, not positive of what's coming in, what's you, what are you making up, what is actually source energy, what is actually divine guidance. Like I feel like there's just like this confusion that comes in. So the advice here would be to get yourself grounded. So if you do like being by water, to do that. If you like just being outdoors, if you meditate, I honestly think that would be the most helpful, because I think you get a lot of your connection through your form of meditation. So if that is like free painting or free writing or whatever it is that you like kind of channel or stream in this, these ideas, these divine guidances. If you're feeling blocked, then they're kind of just suggesting going back to the basics, grounding yourself, doing a meditation, just so that you can get clearer. And then this throat chakra card, I keep kind of asking, why is it so specific about your throat chakra being blocked when I would maybe think it would be your crown with this energy? Okay, so I kind of am getting the information that it's because you start to get more blocked on how to communicate what you're seeing or what you know or what you understand. So the block is getting it out of you, like the outward, like getting the people around you to understand it and hear it. Yeah, and a lot of that is coming from like this other side of you that can, like I was saying, the imposter syndrome, the questioning of who you are. It's very interesting. It seems like that creates a throat chakra block. Because I'm gonna say, like, I think you're still getting like this guidance. Like, it's the crown seems to still be being pretty good. There's just some self-doubt that might creep in from time to time. That's mostly the throat to focus on. So if you do get like Reiki and stuff and they're always saying there's a throat chakra block, you think it's stemming from this self-doubt sort of energy, this like questioning, not being sure how to clearly communicate all this information or this guidance that you are receiving to the outer world. But the message just keeps saying is to ground yourself, spend more time in nature, be more near water. That's gonna help you figure that out. The other thing too that could be coming up with this raccoon energy is essentially you kind of shifting the crowd you were targeting, if that makes sense. So say before you were, I don't know, keeping it more tamed. Like I was saying, I feel like this pile is getting a lot of like spiritual guidance and teachings that you are going to share, whether it's through physical writing, through invention, through books or artwork. I feel like you were kind of dialing it down before, like, dialing it back is the word I meant. And now you're feeling the call to get out of that box and be a little more open with it, be a little more risque with it is the word they're using. And there's some, the raccoon kind of comes forward when it's like, it's still doing the same thing, but it's like expanding the people that you are reaching out to, or going deeper into a certain theme. Like you're changing something, but you're still staying with your main targeted audience, if that makes sense. You're just being a little more open and vulnerable and raw about it. And that makes more sense for the throat chakra block. So let's see here. I don't know if I actually read all this. It says, your body is receiving accurate messages from the divine. Listen to your intuitive feelings. Your animal spirit guide is a guardian to you and is helping you with the situation. The angels are helping you lovingly speak your truth. And it's time to let go of behaviors that are blocking you from your heart's desires. Ask Archangel Raphael to help you with this healing. And I like that there's a little turtle in here, because I was just saying in a different pile how when I see turtles, it kind of makes me think of coming out of your shell and really stepping into who you are. So I feel like there's a little bit of a message there with that, and that whole message around you really expanding and being a little more honest and raw with people about what you know, like that divine channel that you are, this divine inspiration that you are. Okay, I think this is actually all I have for this pile. Hopefully that brought some clarity for you, give you a little information. I'll catch you in a different pile. Hello, pile 8. You all chose this clear quartz cluster. Okay, so you actually got the Manifest Your Mastery Oracle cards. So let's see what you all got. So your animal with you right now is the lizard. Oh, that's a beautiful card. It's so pretty. And we have for it peace with my situation, divine purpose, and being here. There's nothing I have to do. I simply need to be. Being here on the planet and loving the God within is the highest purpose I can have. And then we have within my cache are the secrets to who I am. I pull upon my Akashic wisdom with guides, which guides me in my every life and fills me with divine purpose. And peace in my situation. I am peaceful because I know there is a bigger overview which my higher self understands. I feel safe in the plan that I have created, and I am at peace with my situation. Ooh, so there is actually a lot of talking about kind of like predestined soul agreements. Basically, your like divine purpose sums it up very, very well, and just being alive. So that's interesting theme. Wasn't what I was expecting from the manifestation deck, but here we are. So, and then the lizard card here. So the lizard in this deck, and I don't know if it's lizards, I don't know if they mean the same in all card decks, but in this animal deck, it talks a lot about essentially someone who's very psychic, who is able to predict or sense what's coming before it happens. Sorry, my cat just started attacking the ceiling. There's nothing there, but it's attacking it. Sorry, that was distracting. Okay, so it also, so on that note of like essentially, you know what, for this, I don't know if this is so much a power animal for you. It could be. It definitely could be. I think it actually is more here as a card to represent, what am I trying to say here? Like your gifts and your sensitivities. So it's funny because I don't know if there actually is a lizard working with you. There might be, there might not be. And like I said, it might not be your power animal. It could just be coming through because it's communicating nicely what I needed to hear to communicate a message to you. So I think some of you could have dragon energy as well, like this like wisdom, this sensitivity to energy. But also when this card comes up, it talks about being a little overwhelmed by it. And that makes sense with these cards here, where it's saying like, trust that your higher self had a plan for these experiences that you're going to come into. And I feel like you could be struggling right now with like knowing why you chose this life. Why did you choose these experiences? Why did you choose, for some of you, could be like a challenging life or a hard lesson to learn. And you just might really be like almost upset with yourself for choosing that. It's tough to say, but I almost get like this like frustration almost with like the path you chose, because right now it's not making a lot of sense. But everything here is talking a lot about trust the situation. Trust that your higher self could see the whole situation, could see the future, the present, and the past, and it knew what it wanted to experience to set you up to get exactly where you want to go. So it's interesting because this whole gifting of like being psychic, of knowing what's going to happen, or having awareness of what's going to happen before it does, or knowing what a situation is going to lead to, is a little bit of a bittersweet thing, because people think it's great, but it means you are aware of the good and the bad that can happen in a situation. So it's a tricky thing to balance. I think with the words of peace with my situation, I think you can get overwhelmed or drained by this gifting. Especially if I think you're like picking up a lot of energies about each person. That would be a little exhausting. So I'm just going to read this card again, where it says, peace with my situation. I am peaceful because I know there is a bigger overview, which my higher self understands. I feel safe in the plan that I have created, and I'm at peace with my situation. This almost feels like an affirmation for you all. Yeah, it seems tricky because I definitely get the energy of feeling overwhelmed, or just overstimulated is a better word, sorry, than overwhelmed. Overstimulated, a little bit draining to... Sorry, and a questioning of why you chose this path and everywhere exactly it's going to be leading you. So this card is coming here as a little reminder to know that, just as I was saying, everything happens in divine purpose. Your higher self does have a plan. You might not be able to see the whole plan right now or how it's all going to work out, but just know, be at peace with the situation, that your higher self had your best interest in mind, and it is going to get you there. And here, I like this reminder, is there's nothing you have to do. You simply need to be. Being here on the planet and loving the God within is the highest purpose you can have. So sometimes as humans, we can overcomplicate what exactly we're supposed to be doing, but just being and experiencing is really all we need to do. I'm going to pull one more card for this pile, because the message is pretty clear about that topic, but I'm wondering if there's anything else any other thing they would like you to know about your situation, any advice. Okay, my existence matters. There is purpose to my life. My very existence on the planet matters. Okay, so there is a lot going on around the same theme here. Yeah, just a lot of questioning on your behalf about why you're here, definitely coming up. If you're making a difference, if anything's really being affected by you, and yes, it is. And I even just have to say, like, with this being here in my existent matters card, it really just brings up that message of you just being who you are makes this place lighter. It makes the frequency higher. You being here makes this place a better place. What you do does matter. Sorry, I keep yawning now. I guess it's getting kind of late here. Okay, trying to ask if there's anything else, but I have an impression that if you chose this pile, you probably are going to choose another card from the pile. And I think I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. The whole principle they're trying to get across is that they see that you're struggling. You might feel a little impatient or just frustrated with, like it was saying, the path you're on, the blocks you might be encountering. patterns that you see come up again and again, and wondering like, what is the point of any of it? And it's saying you are making a difference. Everything's happening in divine timing. You just existing, you just being here is helping. It is helping. It is making a difference on a level that you don't understand yet, but I do believe someday you will see. Trust in that. And then there's also a little message here around if you've been thinking about looking into Akashic Records or getting an Akashic Record readings, go forward and do that. You might even be someone who should be doing Akashic Records. You wouldn't be surprised if you've been thinking about that as well and looking more into that. I feel like it will bring some peace into this pile, because it's going to have some answers to the questions that you're asking about why, but why is this like this? Why is that like that? I feel like your answers will, getting tongue-tied, will lie within the Akashic record specific to you. So yes, you can do them yourself. If you can read Akashic records, you can get a reading done, you can learn how to do it yourself. I think both would be great. If you learn the skill for yourself, then you can do it more than once. So I would always recommend that too. It's always great to be able to do it yourself. Okay, that's where I'm going to leave this pile. I know it was a little short and sweet, but their main messages here were just that. They just kind of keep repeating that you are making a difference. You are a beautiful soul. You are bringing more love and light. And look into your Akashic records. Hello, pile 9. You chose the piece of calcite that I had found around these parts that I found out in nature. So interesting thing about calcite is, especially this piece of calcite, is I find it to be very much associated with cleansing yourself, coming back to who you are, to your soul purpose, cleansing your aura, re-energizing you. That's what I think of when I think of this calcite, really coming back to who you are, your soul you. So let's see what you got for your spirit animal right now. The deck that you chose is the Angels and Ancestors Oracle Guides. So they're very shamanic, which is very appropriate for this stone. Once again, I just randomly picked them, so it's kind of cool how they worked out. Okay, so we have Snake for your spirit guide. We have Shield Maiden, Make Plans and Focus, She-Wolf, Unleash the Wild Within. Ooh, there's also a thunderstorm starting up too, so there's a lot of nature energy in this card reading. We have Mountain, Stand Your Ground. Wow, that's amazing that came out with this crystal here. Sky Father, Trust in the Unknown, and Great Teacher, Learn from Spiritual Experience. The other thing that I'm noticing right away is I like how the Flower of Life is in this card. It's in the top of this card, in case you can't see it. So it's in the top of that card there, and it's behind the dove there. So lots of Flower of Life symbolism. I mean, it was the first thing that caught my eye with the snake card. So I feel like that is an important thing for this pile. Okay, I believe you can see all of them. There we go. So I don't know I don't know for sure if this card is supposed to be Jesus in the picture, but every time I see this great teacher card, I always think of Jesus as the ascended master coming through, learn from spiritual experiences. And it actually is a very powerful card, and I think it actually is very in sync with this snake spirit card. So usually when I get snake, I would think of transforming, changing, kind of changing stages in your life, growing out of the things that no longer serve you. But in this pile, or in this, I should say, card deck, this spirit animal deck, it refers a lot to Kundalini energy. To the Kundalini energy. And wow, there's actually a lot of thunder. So maybe the thunderstorm in itself could be a little message for this pile around really just unleashing that inner power. Because I think of that with the Kundalini energy, like this like creation, almost ununderstood power and energy. And with the she-wolf here, and then the mountain card, and there's actually a lot of feminine energy here. I know here it says sky father, which is funny, trust in the unknown. And actually, I'm just noticing now that there's lightning and thunder in this card. And then learn from spiritual teachers. I do feel like there's like a reference to embracing your inner power of, I almost want to get your inner feminine energy, like not just even that, it's like deeper than that. It is like that Kundalini energy, that power of creation energy within you. And when you see two cards like this, like with lightning and with this like woman who's ready and geared up to go, I feel like this snake is coming in more as a message of representing a stage in your life, more so than an actual animal guide with you right now. It's interesting. There's been a couple piles where it's not so much a spirit guide with you, but more so that like it's like a stage of life that you are in. So right now it's calling for you to take action. It's time to go. That's the energy of this lightning. It's like no more wasting time. You're ready, go now. And when I see this woman here, she isn't like getting ready for battle. She's ready. Sorry, that's my cat. So funny. And there's just something here going on about, like with these three cards, about just unleashing that feminine power, that creative energy through you. I mean, even the thunder agrees with it. Wow, that's kind of crazy. It's definitely very thundery out. Not so normal for us here. Okay. What else was I gonna say? The full moon, also same thing. Such a representation of the feminine energy, and it makes me think of doing Kundalini practices as well, because they're traditionally done as a ceremony, and a very feminine based ceremony where they're be groups of women who would practice it together. And I feel like there's so much of that going on here. So I'm just going to try to ask, what exactly are you supposed to be doing? It feels very mystical. It's very interesting. I don't know if you're into like witchcraft kind of energy, or I don't know. I would feel like ritual. That's why I think I'm getting witchcraft. It doesn't mean you actually have to consider yourself a witch, but just being someone who does ritual feels like that's happening in this pile. And there's definitely like a message of doing traditional ceremonies that honor, I don't know if it's the land or like just like these practices. It's very interesting because the only thing when I tune in is I feel like a lot of wisdom, a lot of history, like what you're tapping into, what you are surrounded by has a lot of history to it. I do even think that some of you could just be old soul energy where you would take really easy to this kind of stuff, like the more ritual, ethereal sides of the world, because your soul's just had so many lifetimes with it. It's very familiar with it. And there's just something there where it just feels like your soul really gets this. This Kundalini, this powerful, strong, creative, feminine force. And you know what's interesting is even in this where like it's the flower of life and it's a snake, and I really just feel like it's really saying like the creation of life, the creation of everything kind of energy. It's really cool. So I'm just gonna have to trust that this pile has been thinking about doing something, dabbling at something, hesitant to start something, and this is a confirmation to push through and do it, move forward with it. Like it said, you don't need to keep preparing. You're ready now. Go do it. But it feels like it's something strong with that, like, feminine energy. But feminine energy, like I keep saying, doesn't quite sum it up. It's more powerful than that. It's like a very powerful divine creation energy coming from the feminine side. And then what makes this so great is that we have some male energy, like some masculine. So I don't know why my cat is just like screaming at me. Millie, it's raining. You can't go outside, it's raining. I know, it's raining really bad. I know. You just have to stay inside, girl. Yeah, it's okay. Being inside isn't so bad. Hey, you don't like getting wet. Yeah. Do you just need to have a moment? Okay. All right. Yeah, that is my female cat. She's the most dramatic, might be the right word, of all my cats. All my other ones are boys, but she has the most character, as you can hear. Okay, hang on a second. I better just go show her it's raining or she'll keep meowing. Okay, hopefully that helps her realize that it's raining and she doesn't yell so much. Okay, so the other thing I was just thinking about, sometimes it's actually good to walk away from a pile and come back because you just pick up on a different energy. You can get too sucked into some. There's a lot here on not being afraid to dive into your emotions and understanding them, because I feel like through understanding them, you will master your reality, is the wording they're giving me. It's actually, this is such a cool pile. Because over here, when I was talking about Jesus energy, and I was thinking of Jesus and his counterpart, Mary Magdalene, actually is associated with Kundalini energy. So she was like, how would I put it? She was like all about that. From my understanding, she came from a lineage of women who practice Kundalini energy or Kundalini. I mean, I don't know a lot about it, so sorry about my butchering it if you know more. But basically, she came from like the Isis line and did Kundalini ritual and manifestation work and really like embodied that energy. And Jesus, her counterpart, was essentially teaching the same sort of energy and thoughts and practices, but he was teaching the masculine side of it. So that's just from my understanding. So when I see this, I actually find that it goes very beautifully with this Kundalini feminine energy, because I see this as you being able to be a balanced masculine and feminine within yourself, and mastering your emotions, mastering your perception of reality, and being able to be both the masculine and feminine. So you wouldn't need like this counterpart to be the doer so much as you will be the doer and the creator. I hope that makes sense. But all of this is actually talking a lot about your reality though. So that's really cool. I feel like you're in a space right now where you're starting to realize you can physically change or create your reality. Everything's connected, and they're basically saying, like, all these cards are basically talking about the journey you are on. So it's kind of talking about staying grounded, staying I almost see like staying in body, not getting into the habit of disassociating or not being present, being strong and rooted in the now, and then being on this journey where you start to trust and realize your connection to this like God energy or this universal energy. Like, I feel like you are really starting to understand that, like, you know how they say in the Bible something along like we are made out of God's image. Like, I think you're starting to understand like we have that energy within us, and we can literally, like I said, there's a change our reality, create our reality, based off of our emotions and our belief systems and what we like frequency at or vibrate at, and what that brings to us, and what realm or what vibration we're on, and what we can see in that vibration, and what we attract in at that vibration. You're going down a journey there. I feel like you are already a bit on it, but you really are, like, I feel like that is the path. Mastering your emotions, mastering embodying this the feminine energy, so accepting your shadow and your faults and the things that you previously haven't loved about yourself, and truly accepting them, and then coming out of this, like it says, great teacher. I don't think, if you're like, oh, I wonder if that's a teacher I'm gonna have, no, like, this is you, this is your journey, your path to this enlightenment, to this like embodiment of the masculine and feminine in balance. And it's just, like I said, it's like such a beautiful card. You look at this card and it just feels wonderful. Like, I see this as you, like, you're going to be a shiny person after you really have walked the walk, talked the talk, and you have become a master of this journey that you are on. And I feel like you're going to lead by example, but you're also going to lead because you are just, people are going to notice this about you. You're going to have this wisdom and this understanding that is deeper than a lot of us can understand, that you just emit. So people will want to just be around you because they'll feel like it's easier for them to elevate, or to, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like your frequency and your understanding will be higher, that people will be drawn to you because they'll feel better. Things will make more sense to them when you're around. Things seem easier when you're around, and they're just really going to be drawn. And it's so funny because they keep saying like Jesus energy from this card. So Jesus might be an ascended master that you work with a lot. It might be ascended master who you just like appreciate the story of, like, if you go outside of like what the Bible has said about him, he really came here to show us that we can be the ultimate like creators of reality, right? Like, he turned blind people able to see again. He changed physical limits for others because he had the understanding on how to do that. I think that's like what you want to be on. You want to understand reality at such a level that you can defy physical limitations. You can change the limiting beliefs of the world, and it's super cool. I like see that you're on this journey. So this feels like a bit of a long journey. I don't think it's just like a little short phase. but you're ready for it. You're ready for it. And there's just that trust in the unknown, trust that you are connected. You are also this God energy. Yeah, super cool. This pile. Awesome. I love it. I don't imagine too many people will pick this pile, but if there is, then that's even better. That's absolutely amazing. There's more people picking this and are on this journey. We need it. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any other guidance here for you. Something about storms just is really powerful for this pile. I think there is just that awe in the power of it, in the cleansing of it too. Like, I feel like storms happen and great cleansings happen for the earth, for the plants, for everything it touches. And something about that feels really good. Like, you are in a very powerful cleansing time in your life. Things are transforming. You are growing. Just wow. Great energy from this pile. That's what I really want to make sure I'm getting across, is that it feels like amazing, exciting stuff. Once you go in and accept the shadow, the feminine, the things, go deeper on understanding your emotions and where they come from. That's going to be the place to start here. Okay, I'm kind of just asking if there's any other messages here. I guess they're just saying there's just, make plans and focus. So make your list of priorities on what you've been wanting to do and what you want to get done. If there's certain things you want to read and have researched, or if there's a meditation you want to do every day, make sure that you're doing that. Prioritize and focus that. But otherwise, I think I'm going to leave this reading here. Yeah, it seems really cool, like a super neat path to be on. And you're going to come out of it real strong. A true leader. Hello, pile 10. You are the last pile. So you chose the red jasper mushroom, which to me symbolizes connectedness with everything and everyone, and the whole concept around oneness. And red jasper, which balances the yin and yang energy. It's nurturing. It helps ground us. It helps us de-stress, and some people even consider it a healing stone. So very appropriate that it happened to get paired with the Archangel Raphael oracle cards. So I feel like there's going to be a healing theme to this one, but we'll see. Okay, so spirit animal is turtle, also green, beautiful. Okay, and then we have fresh air. We have listen to your intuitive feelings. Jesus, the divine healer. Inner authority. And laughter is the best medicine. Okay, let me just see what's going on here. Okay, so I can't help but notice that in two of these cards, they're talking a lot about intuitive feelings and connecting with your emotions and like the deeper layer of what's going on. Yeah, there's definitely like an energy of stress too for this pile. So let's talk a little bit first about why the turtle animal, her spirit guide, is with you right now. So in this oracle card deck, they referred to, sorry, for the animal, they referred to the turtle often as being more of the shamanic meaning, if that makes sense. So they refer to a turtle as being sort of the storytellers of the world. They carry stories with them. I know in Aboriginal culture around here, they refer to creation starting on the back of a turtle. And I don't know, that's just what I think of when I think of this deck. I feel like they kind of have that perspective on turtle. So that being said, when I see this and this animal coming forward in this card deck that has very shamanic energy, I see it as saying that you are someone who is more nurturing, who is more focused on relationships. So I feel like more family and friendships, and they can tend to get caught up in taking care of others and making places feel safe for others or supportive for others. So I actually see this turtle as being on a journey back to finding joy within self. That's what I get from it. So I think this turtle is with you now. I don't think it's a power animal. It feels totem animal, but I actually think this totem animal will be with this pile for a long time. It could be for a decade or a few decades. It has like a very companion feeling energy for you. So I think it might just like working with you. It has a good energy for you, so it might stay with you, but I don't believe it's actually a power animal. I think it's just like a good companion. But you know, it is a general card reading, so take what feels right. So yeah, what I mean by going back to a journey to finding your true joy is I do feel there's a lot of stress from this pile. It's maybe the less stress in your life. It might just be that you're very busy and you've had a lot of responsibilities, but I think that's shifting. I feel like that's like an old thing, and now you're stepping into a more I don't quite know how I'm gonna say this, self-respecting cycle of your life, and I just mean that in the sense like self-honoring. That was it. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. Self-honoring phase of your life, where instead of trying to be everywhere or create these beautiful safe and supportive places for other people, it could be family if you have kids and significant others. But I think now you've realized that it's time to focus a little bit more on you, and you want to laugh more. You want to love your life more. You want to feel that passion for your day-to-day life again. So that is what I'm feeling from this pile. So when I saw laughter is the best medicine, this is just like the perfect card for this turtle, because how I see it is this is what you want more of. You want to have more joy. You want to smile more. And it's really saying like the best way to get in a joyous state is to be goofier. Don't take things so seriously. Laugh more, which I know can sometimes be easier said than done. But if you're like in a situation with friends or you're doing something for your own enjoyment and you're like checking your watch all the time, you're checking everything, you're actually not really being in that moment. You're not really being present in it because you're thinking of all these things you have to do, places you have to be, things that people are wanting from you, or things that people are maybe wishing you would do for them. Like it's funny. Sorry. I feel like there's so many things going on. I'm trying to like verbalize all these thoughts that go through your head. But a lot of them have to do with like taking care of or nurturing others. So their advice is if you catch yourself being rushed to like leave a friend or rushed to like be on a time schedule, they're kind of just asking you to ask yourself, where do I have to be right now? And if I'm there, once I'm there, like, where do I go from there? Like, they're just really saying, like, so if you're in a hurry to see that friend only for an hour and get back home so you can be home, and then what? Then you're going to wish you were with that friend. Then you're going to wish you stayed longer and had more fun. So they're just saying, like, it's so funny. Some of you are like, well, then I could get all these things done, but that's not the point. The point is that we look forward to something for so long. We get there, we think about all the other things we have to do, and we're not even enjoying that moment. We're just staying stressed. That's what I get. I get that your shoulders might get tight. You might like need to roll your neck or like crack your hands or something like that because you're just thinking about all this other stuff. And they're saying, just be in the moment. That's when you're going to find joy. That's when you're open to laughing more. If you wonder, why don't you ever laugh really hard when everyone else is? It could be because you're not fully there. You're thinking about all these other things you could be doing or should be doing. And everyone else is just decided to be present and to let go of the laundry or this paperwork you have to do or whatever it is, and just be present. Just love what you're doing right now. I think that's a lesson that you are learning. The fresh air. I'm really intrigued by this. So says, Dear Archangel Raphael, thank you for helping me breathe easier in all ways. I'm just keep getting the image of someone who isn't breathing, but they don't even know it. And when you do breathe, you're breathing very shallow. And they keep showing me these really tight shoulders. Like, they're just so tight that I feel like your shoulders actually sit higher than they should. And that, I don't know. It's just a very uncomfortable feeling. But that to me is just like the true sign of stress and not feeling like you're doing enough or getting enough done. That's where I feel like that energy sits in the body. And there's a lot of yellow that I'm noticing around the heads and in this card. So I actually think that de-stressing, the best way to de-stress is to do a breath work. I know if you've watched this channel for a little bit, I talk a lot about breath work, but if you believe in energy work or if you believe in psychology stuff or just scientific fact, breath work has studies in all those sorts of fields, and every time it has proven that it does physically change your state. It changes your stress levels, it changes the stress on your physical body, it would change the shoulder thing that's happening that I think you have a lot of issues with. Breathing deep, box breathing, I think is actually going to be good for this pile. I think it'll be more calming for you. Okay, sorry, my camera battery died there. Okay, so trying to remember what I was just saying. Oh, breath work. Just that being really good for de-stressing your body. So I think this is actually a physical thing to do. I feel like a lot of people talk about stress and having to like do some emotional work. This is actually very much a physical thing you can do. To make a huge difference for you. And then I think your breathing overall throughout the day will become better. And once you start getting stressed, you'll realize the first sign is your breath changing. So there's going to be a lot of cool things you realize if you do start doing regular breath work. And I honestly feel like if you even just do 10 minutes a day, say you do 10 minutes in the morning when you wake up, or if it works better, you do a 10-minute breath work as you're going to bed. If you fall asleep during it, whatever, at least you got like a round of breathing in, and I think that will help. And if anything, it might help you fall asleep easier if you have insomnia or a very busy mind, because you're tricking your body into thinking it's more relaxed and calm. So it could help with your sleep as well. This Jesus the Divine Healer, it says, Dear Jesus, thank you for your divine healing power and presence. So fascinating, because I think now that's 2 piles, maybe even 3, that had Jesus in it. And I was saying, I'm not a big Jesus person. I I work a lot with Mother Mary, but Jesus, not so much personally, but somebody who's reading this pile definitely does, because it's come up a few times. Yeah, and I feel like I'm getting the same thing here where there's a lot of talking about giving permission for divine healing and knowing that anything can be cured with divine energy. And I know the biggest block around that not working is that we don't always believe that it can happen. But also when I see these two cards here, inner authority and listen to your intuitive feelings, if there is some sort of physical pain you have, or chronic pain, I believe would be for this pile, especially with how the shoulders feel and the stress level. It could even be hip, but this was definitely back related. There might be hip issues. There is a call to ask you to go deeper and just really find out, when did that pain start? When can you track, when was the first time you remember it starting hurting? What was going on in your life during that phase? Was there, were you feeling overwhelmed and like you weren't good enough? Like you couldn't, what's the word I'm looking for? For some reason, I think a little bit of responsibilities and not feeling like you can handle all the responsibilities, and then you were starting to get pain in your body. There's something, I don't know. It's for you to figure out. But they're saying use your inner authority, use your intuition, your instincts to figure out what was the belief behind this chronic pain. What happened? What was happening that first time it hurt? What beliefs did you have? And these beliefs are limiting. They're not true beliefs. They're beliefs that we, like our fear, decided were true for us. And I think figuring out what that is, and I mean, there's two cards really talking about it, is going to help with releasing it. That's what I'm getting from this divine healer card, and even this breathing card, because when I see this, when we breathe in air, we are connecting to the oneness. We are connecting to everything, which really is appropriate for this little mushroom. So I feel like this person, whoever you are watching this, there is a block around feeling like you are connected to others, connected to other beings, and breath work will also help with that, because you are breathing on oxygen just like the rest of us are. But if you have a limiting belief around not being one with society, not belonging, being an outcast, that in itself could cause, the limiting belief could cause you to stop breathing. It's amazing. It's so powerful what our limiting beliefs can do. I speak only from experience here and having seen the power of health change around what I believed. And I mean, it wasn't easy. I had to actually look at what was going on and what I was thinking. But you know what? When I actually set aside time, it came very quickly to me what my limiting belief was. But I just had never thought to ask like that. I thought it was a physical problem, and therefore it needed a physical solution. But when I realized it was a emotional block, a limiting belief that I had adapted, that then made me susceptible to other things, other illnesses and things like that, that no one else seemed to be susceptible to, which then caused me greater physical problems. So our limiting beliefs are just incredible how much power they are. Basically, when we have a limiting belief, it becomes like a rule for us. It becomes like this thing that is true. Until we look at it like it's asking you to, and realize that it was a false belief. It snuck in there. So I think some people hate it when I say this stuff, because it makes them feel like I'm not believing that they're struggling with something or that they're having a hard time. That is not it at all. I very much, from, like I said, personal experience, understand the frustration. But one thing that I had never tried was to pinpoint the exact limiting belief, because that's really where I found the power. I really have to say that, because I know some people say, when did it start? Where were you physically located? What was going on in your life? Oh, you had some stress. But I feel like people need to dig a little deeper yet. And I think people are starting to do that. Okay, so you were stressed out. Maybe your parents got divorced and then you had this problem. What did the divorce make you feel? What belief did that make you embody, make you think was true? That's the kind of limiting belief we're looking for. And I think it's gonna really be an eye opener. And then from there, that's when you do your breath work and you ask for divine intervention and healing. And you essentially correct that limiting belief. You work on that limiting belief. And I'm just saying, from my own personal experience, you will not believe the power in that. For me, that is what changed my health. I had tried all the physical things, and then doing breath work and going into the limiting beliefs and really just dissecting them and changing them and rewording them and releasing them changed my health. So I didn't think I'd go on this rant here, but I just feel like you are this beautiful little turtle and you want more for your life. You want that journey back to joy and that journey back to stress-free life. And I think for some of you, a pain-free life. And this is the guidance they are giving me for you. And I think it's a very common thing that we just have forgotten how to handle in today's society. I think before, in other cultures, they would have known to look to the limiting beliefs first, but we just sort of forgot that. So just to end this reading, because I feel like some of you are like, not really what I was wanting to hear, says, Dear Archangel Raphael, thank you for reminding me to detach and find the humor and irony within every human drama. And this card is just that laughter is the best medicine. Super beautiful card. Really, how I see this is not hanging on to anything. Like if someone, sorry, seems funny. Like I see like this woman is protected, and anytime there's like a negative energy coming at her, or drama, or like anxiety or fear, it just bounces off of her and she releases it. She doesn't take it on. It doesn't become her problem. She knows it's not hers. It hits her energy shield and she's like, you be free. Stay away from me. Not quite like that, but yeah, just not taking it on for herself. So there's a little message there about energy shielding and not holding on to what's yours and not taking on other people's fear or anger or frustration as your own. Okay, so just to leave this pile, I do see a lot of heart work going on too. So there's a lot on the stress and on the solar plexus and just releasing those stresses and that busy mind telling you all the things you should be doing and you're not doing or whatever it is. And then I also see some heart healing, and that seems like a game changer. It's also kind of why I think there could be a lot of neck pain, is I find if there's some blocks in the heart energy, it comes usually from there's a problem with receiving or giving equally, and there's some block around the deservingness. So usually that's when there's some shoulder pain. But also for you, I think it's because those shoulders just need a break and a time to relax. Okay. Well, hopefully that reading brought some clarity to you. I know people don't like it when I say you have to do some deep emotional diving and look at what is the root cause of that limiting belief. When did it start? Why did it happen? I feel like people would prefer a physical thing they could do over the emotional. So at the very least, there's a breath work you can do to physically help and to reconnect you to that universal energy, that God energy, to everyone else. Know that you belong. You are part of the community. You are supported. But if you want to go deeper and really get rid of this chronic pain that you may or may not have, that they're saying you have, then that is a limiting belief work where you have to dive deeper and do some emotional digging. Okay. Well, best of luck on this journey. I hope you are successful on your journey back to joy. And you all have a beautiful day.